portions of the following program may be unsuitable for younger or more sensitive viewers. Viewer discretion is advised.
Disclaimer! Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Allowances made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news, reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Non-profit education or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. This video was made for entertainment purposes and is transformative in nature.
You feel, however, that we're making progress in this country and worldwide?
No. I will never say that progress is being made. If you stick a knife in my back 9 inches and pull it out 6 inches, there's no progress. If you pull it all the way out, that's not progress. The progress is healing the wound that the blow made. And they haven't even begun to pull the knife out, much less try and heal the wound. They won't even admit the knife is there.
Hey, John, what do you want us to take away from this extraordinary series of yours?
Well, I want people who are not Latin to have Latin envy and wish they had been born Latin, and for Latin people to realize, damn, being Latin is a superpower, man. I mean, the things that we've suffered in this country, 500 years, our wealth was stolen from us. We were lynched. We were burned, shot alive. We've been the only American citizens that have ever been deported by the millions. And yet we contribute and we build and we thrive.
To me, if you have been here for 5 years and you do not have a criminal record, you will be able to go on the dignity status for 7 years.
That status is like a probation period.
You will not be deported. You will not lose your assets. You can work anywhere in the country. You will pay taxes.
And there would be an additional tax.
A new levy of 1.5 withholding called the dignity levy will be held from your paycheck. You will not have access to any government program and will have to buy your own health insurance.
And another charge.
You will pay $700 a year for 7 years, and that adds up to around $5,000. Those $5,000 will represent around $45 billion.
This is provided that the undocumented immigrants total 10 million, but there are more.
And that fund will go to pay for border security. The other bucket of money, the 1.5, will go to re-educate or retrain any American who believes that he or she has lost his opportunity, his job opportunity, to an undocumented.
Some of the other legislators who support the bill said they are aware that it is not perfect. They said it's better than doing nothing.
Various groups, feminist, gay rights groups, and those who are defending immigrants have commandeered the black civil rights experience.
Yes.
What do you mean by that?
Yes, I'm glad you asked that because I think it's one of the most important points of the book. I mean, I think the way liberals have treated blacks like children and many of their policies have been harmful to blacks. At least they got the beneficiary group right. We do have to, I mean, we shouldn't. There is the legacy of slavery and Jim Crow laws. We don't owe the homeless. We don't owe feminists. We don't owe women who are desirous of having abortions, but that's, or gays who want to get married to one another. That's what civil rights has become for much of the left. They dropped the blacks after 5 minutes.
Immigrant rights are not civil rights?
No, I think civil rights are for blacks. We've done to the immigrants. We owe black people something. We have a legacy of slavery. Immigrants haven't even been in this country. Democrats are dropping the blacks and moving on to the Hispanics because they're a larger group of Hispanics now. But could I just say to Jorge, I hate to disagree with you when you're attacking President Obama, but I think the point on immigration is you can have open borders or you can have a welfare state. You cannot have both.
Great job in the heart these days.
You late again, Eddie.
I know what you've been trying to do. You ain't gonna do it. See, Big Red done pulled my coattail to you a long, long time ago.
That's bullshit, Eddie. You talking crazy.
Crazy like a mother fox. And you, I can see through your jive ass like glass, nigga.
Eddie, you got it all wrong, man.
Stealing even trying to riff like me.
Hey man, why don't you get your boy out of here and detox him?
You on my spot, Flash? Slum-dwelling, scum-sucking, slug-ass motherfucker. You on my spot, Flash? Huh? Well, you ain't gonna get it, 'cause you ain't got it.
These kind of boys seems innocent, Boogie. Got everybody on the post thinking he's a strong black buck. White boys envy his strength, his speed, power in his swing. Then this colored champion lets those same white boys call him Shine or Sambo.
Whoa, Lord.
And he just smiles.
Dream about the time when I was a little boy.
Can't talk.
The night would get blue.
Can barely read or write his own name. And don't care. He'll tell you they like him. Or that colored folks ain't supposed to have but so much sense.
Yes, he would.
You know the damage one ignorant Negro can do. We were in France in the First War. We'd won decorations. But the white boys had told all them French gals that we had tails. Then they found this ignorant colored soldier. Paid him to tie a tail to his ass and run around half naked making monkey sounds. They put him on a big round table in the Cafe Napoleon. Put a reed in his hand, crown on his head, blanket on his shoulders, and made him eat bananas in front of all them Frenchies. Oh, the white boys danced that night. Passed out leaflets with that boy's picture on it. Called him Moonshine, king of the monkeys. And when we slit his throat, you know that fool asked us what he had done wrong. My daddy told me we got to turn our backs on his kind, Wilkie. Close our ranks to the chitlins, the collard greens, the cornbread style. We are men, soldiers. And I don't intend for our race to be cheated out of its place of honor and respect in this war because of fools like CJ. You watch everything he does. Everything.
You said your people have been fighting for 400 years.
Man, your peoples too.
So I just want you to explain what you mean by that.
You know what I'm talking about. Y'all all know what I'm talking about, man. Don't sit up here and try to bait and not know what I'm talking about. Y'all know what the I talk about when I say these things. Your people too.
Explain it. Not everybody knows what you're talking about.
Radio Raheem, I don't have to explain what's understood, man. You know what I mean by that. You know what I said by that. I ain't got to go further. And if anybody don't understand that, then God be with them. Go look up the history. Go look up the history. Don't everybody believe in Google? Go Google that. See what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about, man. You know what. I dare you to sit up there and say, explain. You know what I'm talking about, man. He's fighting people. You know we've been fighting 400 and still fighting to this day. To this day. To this day. You just sit here, you don't know.
And since the American white man has used his control over the press, rewrite history or retell history, and since the white man can't dispute this truth, it's not hate to say that we were kidnapped and brought here, it's truth. It's not hate to say that we were Jim Crow, discriminated and segregated, it's truth. It's not hate to say that the Supreme Court, which is the highest court in this country, came up with a hypocritical desegregation decision 9 years ago, which they haven't enforced yet. That's not hate, that's truth.
Remember, the enemy has only images and illusions, behind which he hides his true motives. Destroy the image, and you will break the enemy.
Welcome, welcome, welcome to the most hated show in the black corner of YouTube. I'm your host, the whiteologist, Mr. Blows Your Minds, and this is We Up Report. First and foremost, I want to say what's good to the fam that should happen to be in the house checking out this live Sunday program. Teaching everyone you, thank you for finally stopping by. But before we get into any other part of the business, we must first give those who contribute to this show. We must always give our congratulations and our thanks to them. First and foremost, another brother who is one of those brothers that you would love to have as a subscriber that goes out his way when he feels the need to, and we're always very appreciative. That brother there is going to be Patruel Will. We thank you. WeUpReport, Mr. Blow Your Mind, and family. Thank you for your contribution. Your donation.
To me, if you have been here for 5 years and you do not
what's going on here, right? Okay, look at that. Look at this, man. Look what's going on right in front of your own eyes. You think I'm not the most hated show in the black corner of YouTube? You better think again, right? Well, anyway, trying to interrupt us, giving us our appreciations to Patruel Will. Thank you, brother, for that contribution donation. You are another one of them brothers that is one that we, and those of us who do this, love to have people like yourself who when you have the time and, and when you do it, we're always thankful and appreciate. Me and my family tip our hat out to you. Thank you so much, sir. Again, like I said, I guess they in the house because it's doing everything in opposition to what I'm trying to do. But that ain't gonna stop this show. We're gonna get to another brother here. We're gonna give it to Mr. Spencer 0620, the most thorough subscriber that I have. It does what he does, and we've always appreciated me and my family. We thank you each and every time that you continue to do what you do. It's never nothing that we take for granted, and always appreciative. Thank you so much, brother, for what you do. Always appreciation and thank you for what you do, Mr. Spencer 0620. Thorough. Now, so just in case you stop by, this is the most hated show in the black corner of YouTube. Go down the aisle, happen to see something to make you feel some kind of way. Remember, the motto of my show is the truth. Don't need no partner. Well, what is today's show about, Mr. Blows Your Mind? Well, let me show you what today's show is about, right? Let me go ahead and get to that, right? The levels of inception. Let me say that one more again. The levels of inception. Word inception itself is the beginning of something. An undertaking, such as an undertaking or commencement, right? Those are things, right? You think about it from that perspective. The beginning, right? The origination, the origin, the cause, the procession, the emanation, right? In that sense, that's how one way you can look at it, right? Beginning, start, rise, the birth, the origin, the dawn, the outside, the initiation, inauguration, commencement, the kickoff, right? So based on some of the things I have seen over the time, over the week, the theme I'm looking at seems to be there's some kind of inception happening. And it kind of remind me, those of y'all who watch movies, you remember back in about 2010, there was a movie called Inception, right? Had Leonardo DiCaprio in it, had Emma Thomas in it. That was his wife in that movie, right? Yeah. There's some things going on in the background, but we're gonna keep doing what we're doing. We're gonna do what we do, right? So anyway, it was based on the fact that he was probably a professional thief. And what he did is he stole information, and how he did is by infiltrating and getting into people's subconscious. Let me say that one more again. Movie The Inception I think it came out in 2010. Starred with Leonardo DiCaprio, and his wife was Emma Thomas. Right? Come on, we got some things going. I don't know what's going on here. Hopefully that's not doing on it, but we know we're gonna do what it do. And so Leonardo DiCaprio, in this movie Inception, was a professional thief who steals information by infiltration of the subconscious of whoever he targeted. Okay? And in exchange for payment for his services, he would get his criminal history erased. So what he does is this implantation of other person's ideals into the target's subconscious. Right? Let's think about that, right? Think about that. Now look at this from an analogy aspect of things, right? Are there people out here whose professions who is to harbor, gather, collect information? And again, we in the information age, right? They say the Aquarius age, which is pouring of the water representing information and knowledge. And so we see there's so many things when it comes to technology and people who harvest information. And there's dumpster divings and people's stuff getting hacked and so forth. And there's a big business in this. And so with this information, you get to get a read on people or a person, and you use it to your advantage to whatever your likings for the service you have rendered. And so we have to ask ourselves, are there some people who's using the information based on what we give on a daily basis through the technology we use and the apparatuses when it comes to economics and things like that? Are we giving information on the daily that somebody can use to their advantage to make it a disadvantage when it comes to us? And when you're thinking about implementations of their ideas, well, there are apparatuses for that. So the professional, this thief, there's a thief in the world whose job it is to harvest the information, to sell it, and this information that they steal is an exchange. So they can use this information to do the things they need to do so they can have a read on people, and in exchange for it, they get to erase their history. Okay. Marinate on that for a second. Right? All right. So anyway, let's get into this. Let's go ahead and get into this, right? But that's what we're going to tread today on the levels of inception. Again, from the movie Inception, right? Where they had somebody who was extractor, right? Get into this espionage, corporate espionage, and they had some kind of dream sharing technology that would infiltrate its target subconscious, extract the information, able to, let's say, layer it, multiple layers of it, right? They would layer it so that the person could not detect it, that they were in it. What are you talking about, Mr. Blow Your Minds? Well, we're going to go there because somebody is layering stuff to the fact that in that movie, in the Inception, when you think about it, he had a dreidel and he would spin it because it would go 3 levels down. And when the dreidel didn't fall, that means he was still in one of the dream states. And he had to find out when it was real, because I'm going to show some things that it looks like some of our people can't discern what is real to what is fake. And is that has something to do with, as time that went on, in the difference of generations in the program that has been happening over time, that when you look at how this science of how this all works, you may have to ask yourself, is somebody doing this to us or have been doing it to us? By it being the 50-year of hip hop, and you understand how this technology or this thing, what they call inception, works. We're talking about brain waves, gamma, beta, alpha, theta, delta. You think about that, gamma, beta, alpha, theta, delta, those sound like what? Fraternity, sorority, don't they call themselves that? But that's also the 5 brain waves that is used out here. And people using reverse psychology, logic reversal. They have agendas of never being able to talk about the idea, but just talk around it to undersell it so you can buy it. What are you talking about, Mr. Bowman? Well, just stay tuned, because I'm going to show you some things in this show. When us people start saying that stuff that we do is fake, we have to ask ourselves, for what purpose? You know, some of us so want to be accepted that we do other things in opposition to our own existence, even though we may say it's our job, or I'm not racist and all this other stuff that they be saying. But the truth of the matter is, a lot of our people seem to be not knowing which side they're really on, and then they say things. But just stay tuned, we're going to get into it. So let's start with this first show, this first story I seen here. Let me show you this here. Did y'all see this here? About that little young man, the 10-year-old Mississippi boy arrested, jail for peeing behind mom's car. Right? Now, as a man, right, and you in that the need to go immediately, it's a little bit accessible for a man to be able to get somewhere, do your business, and move on. Right? For women, it's not as easy because you got to get pants down, panties down, you know what I'm saying, and not pee on your shoes and all that. Because I know back in the days when you used to go on trips, like, going down south, you're going to, the deuce and the quarter, right? And, ain't no place to pull over. Somebody got to go real bad. They been sipping, so they've been turning the cups up. Right? Back in the day, you could drive. If you kept it in a bag, brown bagging it, you could drink openly, long as it was in the bag. So, you'd be on the trip and it wasn't all that DUI at that time. Unless you was really drunk when they caught you and like, oh, you too inebriated to be behind this wheel. But other than that, you could be a little turned up a little bit and still driving. As long as you ain't crashing, get into nothing, you'll be all right. Then they pull you over for that. But anyway, a woman would have to pull the vehicle, the car had to be pulled over to the side. She get over to the side of the road, get over there, open the door, get between, squat, and go ahead and do what she had to do, right? So it's a little bit more for a woman to do something when it comes to just being in nature, going outside, than a young man or a boy, right? So we see that this young boy here, under this situation, as I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to let you hear the story, but I'm going to go ahead and let me go ahead and tell you, because I think there's something in it that, again, we have to look at, because, again, the exception, things are coming down the pipe. And it looks like, everything is on the board as to being the target. Kind of like this inception that I'm going to go over again as we go in more into this. So let me go ahead and let me tell you about this story about this 10-year-old that was in Mississippi. Tell you the story, because there's some technical difficulties happening right before our eyes, but we the most hated show in the black corner of YouTube. We gonna get it off no matter what. So let me go ahead and let me tell you how this story went down, just in case you might have heard, may not have heard. Like I said, I got some technical difficulties. So I'm a little, give me just a little second right here. I got some things on my end here. So it's obviously somebody somewhere is, as I'm saying, diving for information, infiltrating, getting into your stuff. So right now, I'm not sure what this is all about here. Let me hold on. Let me see. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's okay. I mean, somebody really doing some magic right now. This really don't even make sense. Give me one quick second here. I think it's coming up here. Hold on. Here you go. Hold on. All right. But that's how it is when you do YouTube and you do channels and you do, again, think about it. I've been in the business for going on 12 years and pretty much have been, at a crossroad. But I'm not one. I ain't going to cry about none of that. We're going to just do what we do, and those who get it, you don't. So a 10-year-old Mississippi boy was arrested and hauled off to jail for public urination. And his mom is pissed off, according to what they wrote in this article that I'm reading. LaTonya Eason was at an attorney's office in Senatobia, just south of Memphis, for legal advice on August 10th when a cop told her he caught her son, Quantavious, peeing behind her car. I was like, son, why did you do that? He said, Mom, my sister said that they don't have a bathroom there. Eason told the outlet. I was like, you know better. You should have come and asked me if they had a restroom. So she said the officer told her that Quantavious could get back inside the car and that he would just be given a warning. But several other cops then showed up, including a lieutenant, who said the boy had to be hauled to jail. No, him urinating in the parking lot was not right. But at the same time, I handled it like a parent, and for one officer to tell my baby to get back in the car like it was okay, and to have the others pull up, take him to jail, like, no, Eason told WHBQ. I'm just speechless right now. Why would you arrest a 10-year-old kid? The irate mom had added. Quantavious said he was scared when the cops swooped in on him. I started crying a little bit. They took me down there, got me out of the truck. I didn't know what was happening, he told the outlet. I get scared and start shaking and thinking, I'm going to jail. The boy, who was not cuffed during the ordeal, said he was held in a cell and later turned over to his mom. He was charged with child in need of services, Eason said. Quantavious said he cried when the police officers arrested him. The boy was not handcuffed, but was jailed before being released to his mom. This could really traumatize my baby. My baby could get to the point where he won't want to have an encounter with the police, period, she told the outlet. Eason posted a photo on Facebook of her son in the back seat of the patrol car, which I did not post for y'all to see. In a lengthy statement, Senatobia Police Chief Richard Chandler cited the State Youth Court Act, which he said allows the law enforcement to file referral against kids as young as 7 if they are in need of supervision, or 10 if they commit acts that would be illegal for an adult. The need to transport children from a scene depended on various factors and the availability of reasonable alternatives. In this situation, the officer personally witnessed a 10-year-old child committing the act in public that would have been illegal for an adult under the circumstances, he wrote. Topcock noted that the officers did not see a parent at the scene. Police chief called the arrest an error in judgment, but Eason above is still upset about her son's ordeal. The mother located a nearby business shortly thereafter, and she was advised that her child was going to receive a youth court referral for this matter. The mother was located a nearby business shortly thereafter, and she was advised that her child was going to receive, again, as I said, the youth court referral for this matter. But Chandler also acknowledged that under these circumstances, it was an error in judgment for us to transport the child to the police station since the mother was present at the time as a reasonable alternative. He added that mistakes like this are a reminder in the profession as to the continued need for training and refreshers on the various topics that we encounter each day. Now, that's the story here, right? So as you heard me reading that story there, is some conflict there. One, they said she wasn't there. Two, they said, well, they could have left her there because she was an alternative. And so under that circumstance, you know, when we think about it, can people who are of different, let's say, backgrounds, ethnicities, race, actually patrol each other? People would like to believe we can. And we probably could if, right, I'm gonna say it like that. We probably could if we didn't have some of the damn biases. We got so many racist biases because, again, you get somebody like, what's the name, say this is not a racist country. The country in itself may not be racist, but a lot of people that's in it harbor certain sentiments that even in the profession that they are in, it shows. Now, just imagine, again, as me as a man, and you who might be listening to me, you might be a man, and if you're a woman, you understand, but I know it takes a little bit more for you to do what we do. It's a lot easier for us to do. But the point I'm saying is, if you have to use the bathroom, you do it not because of the necessity, just because I just want to be, you know, like some people say, if you ever go to the projects, lived in the projects, and the elevator smell like piss, is because why? Somebody had to use the bathroom and couldn't get to where they was going and go ahead and let it out in the stairwell, all that, right? And we understand we don't want to be living in places and it's smelling like piss. So we understand that, right? But as a man and a young man, the warning should have been sufficient enough. Why did they need to take him in? Why did he need to be brought under that situation? A warning would have been suffice. The story in itself that them saying that somebody could have went to one of the businesses, y'all don't allow nobody to go in and use the bathroom in there. Because when we were coming up, there was a lot of businesses that told you, and there were restaurants that told you they didn't let you couldn't use their bathroom unless you was a paying customer, right? And a lot of y'all been through that before. Being a paying customer was the only one you could actually use the bathroom. If you want a paying patron, you can't use my bathroom. So you're looking at, well, wait a minute, if you back here cooking food and sometimes they ain't got no bathroom, well, you don't need to be touching my damn food. But you know, that's how the game they used to play, right? So I'm saying now, if these are black police officers and young men, okay, you lay down a lesson for them. Look, young man, you know, talk to them a little bit. Find out. You know, this ain't good public health. Nobody want to smell this, but I understand the circumstance. I'm gonna give you warning. If I catch you do this again, whoop-de-woo, whoop-de-woo. But see, other people from other persuasions, and again, sometimes having them animosities and biases, this is our opportunity. If I could show you the picture of how Quintavious looked, he's to be 10 years old, but he's one of, like, let's say, Doughboy from Boys in the Hood. Just imagine Doughboy in your mind. So that means he gonna grow up, he gonna be a big boy when he get big. You can see that he gonna be a big boy as he get older. He's 10 right now. So based on you heard how he said that he was scared, he cried a little bit. They put him in, he didn't know, I'm going to jail. So are you setting the tone in the young man's mind already? Was that the whole ordeal? Let me catch him now. He gonna remember me now. Because I know I'm gonna see him later on. Right? And it's like, if the mother's there, why do all that? But let me see the real thing here is, did you hear they say they put, it's called CHINS, C-H-I-N-S. C-H-I-N-S is child, what do they call it again? It's called, I think it's child in need care. Child in care, I think it's like that, right? No, yeah, child in needs for services. That's actually taking your child so that your child can be taken from you by the ward of the state. Let me say that one more again. Now, okay, we see that the situation was about urinating, peeing on public property. We get it. Nobody wants that. But under the circumstances, a young man, he did that behind his car, mama's car. based on the story he told you, either you believe him or you don't believe him. If you already gave him the warning, allow him to go back to the car, why now come back again? No, he need to go to the police station. Why? You need to give him his first experience already at 10 years old. You know, for those of us who in your 20s, if you're 20, 25 and get pulled over by police and they check your background and you ain't got no record, they looking at you like you some kind of unicorn. How the hell you ain't never got you in the damn system? Let me say that one more again, but don't slow in the background. When you're a young man, black, and the police pull you over and run your background, and they find you, say you between the ages of 20, 25, and 30, and you ain't got no background, they looking at you like you a damn unicorn. How the hell we ain't got you yet? How the hell we ain't never put nothing on you? And sometime in the situation, because your record is clean, they want to be the first one to put a mark on you. But when it's their children, they got every excuse in the book to not let somebody be arrested, not to put something on their charge. Remember that situation some years back when them two sisters went to that frat house, when they claimed that they raped allegedly they raped them, right? I think it was that lacrosse team, right? But those boys and young men were of prominent background. And so what they did is they switched that case and made them to be like, no, wasn't none of that. Y'all just was in here being, let's say, vivacious and throwing it around and tossing up, letting everybody do what they do. See, they had enough power to not manipulate them and say, well, we're not going to ruin their careers for you two being in here. See, but when it comes to ours, oh no, for urinating, I'm going to put you in, get your fingerprint, get this mark on you now, so that later on when I run up on you, I already know we got some paperwork on you. You get what I'm saying? So in this situation, again, it's not all that, but the point is, we got to look at these exceptions. These are the things that's coming down the pipe because, again, I am that show. April 1st, 2014 told you the extinction of the white race was coming in 2014. That's why this channel has not grown since then. It was never about threatening, saying that nothing about we gonna do anything to white folk, but that catastrophic when it comes to demographics, that they were gonna have problems replicating themselves and be having a deficit. So what you think they're trying to do? They have to mar that because that group that Quintavious in is already a majority over their children of that age. Let me say that one more again. Do you not know? The children that's like 12, 11, 10 on down are already the majority over their kids. So they have to set the parameters now to try to keep that off because they said they're outnumbered. That's why you're seeing them all talking about going to Mars and all that stuff, because I don't think psychologically they can deal with the fact that they got to say in 2030, 2040, really 2030, because Joe Biden, I was saying in 2015 what it was. So 2030 coming, they're going to be in that deficit of not being number one. And I don't know if they can psychologically live like that because they think with all the dirt that, you know, when you do something, again, the old saying is, you do me wrong, you hate me more because you know that you did me wrong. And so you can't sleep good at night, right? And so they're setting the parameters and things like this and making the young boy go through it. And as the mama said, he may grow up and not want to have no kind of encounters with them. They're betting on that. They want that to be there. Because otherwise, what would be the purpose of them having their jobs? If there's nobody doing crime, if the young ones ain't out here being rambunctious and doing mischievous things, then you won't really need a police force like that. But in order for a municipality to have a police force, you got to have crime-ridden areas. That's why they always promoted and said, always targeting and stereotyping on that news about the crimes and always put it in the forefront because that's the only way you can justify having them police in them areas. So let's just hear this and we'll be right back. Check this out. Listen to them when he said.
Start shaking and thinking I'm going to jail.
10 years old, sitting in the back of a Senatobia police cruiser. What could he have possibly done to wind up there? Urinate in public. There's a photo circulating on social media, sparking outrage in the community. I spoke with the boy's mother about what happened and asked police why they felt the need to haul the boy off to jail.
I'm just speechless right now because, for one, I can't believe it happened. Like, why would you arrest a 10-year-old kid?
Last Thursday, LaTanya Easton stopped by a Senatobia attorney's office for legal advice. She says within as little as 10 minutes, a police officer interrupted her meeting. He caught her 10-year-old son, Quantavious Easton, urinating behind her car.
I was like, son, why did you do that? He said, Mom, my sister said they ain't got a bathroom in there. I was like, well, you knew better. You should have came and asked me if they had a restroom. So he was like, since you had it like a mom, then he could just get back in the car.
But Easton says things quickly took a turn for the worse when several more police cruisers pulled up.
Another officer came over there and was like, your son got to get out of the car. He got to be arrested because he can't do that. I started like crying a little bit, and they had like took me down there, and they got me out the truck, and I wouldn't know what was happening.
Quantavious says they held him in a jail cell, and his mom says they charged him with child in need of services, then released him to her.
That could really traumatize my baby. My baby could get to the point where he don't want to have a counting with police, period. I get scared, start shaking and thinking I'm going to jail.
We reached out to Senatobia Police Chief Richard Chandler. He sent over this statement. It says in part, in this situation, an officer personally witnessed a 10-year-old committing an act in public which would have been illegal for an adult under these circumstances. The officer did not observe a parent on the scene during the initial contact. The mother was located at a nearby business shortly thereafter, and the mother was advised her child would receive a youth court referral for this matter. Under these circumstances, it was an error in judgment for us to transport the child to the police station, since the mother was present at the time as a reasonable alternative.
Conscrew says that personnel must use the lowest IQ resume for peace officer, right? He said the personnel must use. Matter of fact, they so desperate that to the fact that they saying that they're letting people who are illegally here being able to be cops. Keep that in mind. They're about to let people who are illegally here, because they have a HB1 work visa, being legal to work federally, will be able to apply for being cops. Now you're going to bring people here who look at our people as, again, indigenous Americans, indigenous Black Americans, indigenous, Moors, all the above that we call ourselves. Just imagine having them be the police for us, against us in our communities, and you got some kind of hatred or some kind of slant towards us. Watch how that gonna work, right? So, matter of fact, by them being in, let's say, in Mississippi, really, this is probably what this police was probably thinking in the back of their mind. But hit that like button if y'all ain't hit it.
Now, for all of you raw niggers that don't know, my name is John Tibbies, William Ford's chief carpenter. You will refer to me as master. Now, Mr. Chapin is the overseer on this plantation. You two will refer to him as master. So clap your hands. Like this. Come on. Come on now. Clap your hands. Nigga run, nigga flow, nigga tore his shirt in two. Run, run, the patty roller get you. Run, nigga, run, well, you better get away. That's right, like you mean it. Nigga run, run so fast, over his head in a hornet's nest. Run, run, the patty roller get you. Run, nigga, run, well, you better get away. Run, nigga, run, the patty roller get you. Run, nigga, run, well, you better get away. Some folks say a nigga don't steal. I caught 3 in my cornfield. One has a bushel and one has a pack. One has a rope, it was hung around his neck. Run, nigga, run, the patty roller get you. Run, nigga, run, well, you better get away. Run, nigga, run, the patty roller get you. Run, nigga, run, well, you better get away. Hey, Mr. Patty Roller, don't catch me. Catch that nigga behind that tree. Run, nigga, run. The Patty Roller catch you. Run, nigga, run. You better get away. Run, nigga, run. The Patty Roller catch you. Run, nigga, run. Where you better get away. Run, nigga, run. The Patty Roller catch you. Run, nigga, run. Where you better get away.
We back. It looked like a lot of people offended. Why are you offended when somebody is just showing the mindset that you know why they do the young man the way they did the young man, right? Those are things that we know. But, you know, like I said, as we get into this show, we're going to look at that. Because, see, I believe a lot of our people got this handkerchief head Negro syndrome, right? A lot of us got it. A lot of us think we 100. A lot of us think that, you know what I'm saying? But y'all, those who just spit now, you just happen to be one. This ain't personally towards you. And if you know any, it is what it is, right? But see, some of us are so embedded with this that we find like a boomerang to always find a way to put it back on us no matter what it is. When we do something, there's always that little hand bunch that always seem to know how to put it right back on black no matter how you spin it. Well, what are you talking about, Mr. Boyman? Let me show y'all this, right? Let me show y'all something. Huh? Now, you offended by what I showed you, then, you know, this ain't for you over here. We keep it 100. You know what I'm saying? We don't have to pretend. That's y'all want to pretend about what is and what's not. Y'all do that. Y'all go on and do what y'all want to do, right? Now, I seen this here, right? I seen this woman here, right? This woman here. And she was saying that the Alabama boat brawl was fake. Okay, the Alabama boat, that the fight, melee, some call it. There's all kind of names out there, right? I seen some black men at work and something jumped off when they was in camaraderie with one another, right? But she, according to what she said it was fake. And I think there's a lot of people who are now starting to say that incident was kind of fake. Like some psyop, right? Let me show y'all this and we'll be right back. I got that message. I see you. Be right back.
Looking more closely today at this video showing a chaotic brawl on the riverfront in Montgomery, Alabama. Social media video has gone viral, capturing the fight that broke out when a dock worker asked the owner of a boat to move it. Things quickly got out of hand. ABC's Rena Roy has the latest.
Dramatic video shows the moments a brawl broke out on the riverfront in Montgomery, Alabama. The fight happening over the weekend, witnesses saying it all began when a black dock worker employed by the city began to try to untie and move a pontoon boat belonging to a group of white men. That pontoon boat was reportedly docked where the city's riverboat needed to park.
You just felt so helpless for that man, like there's 5 or 6 of them on him.
Multiple individuals seen attacking the worker who tries fighting back. Bystanders jumping in to help, including one man seen swimming over to the dock from the nearby riverboat. When the riverboat docks, more people joining in. One man even hitting people with a chair, officers arresting him along with several others.
Oh my God! They're going to have to determine who, in fact, really was, if any, were engaged in acts of legitimate self-defense and legally justified self-defense versus individuals who may be charged with being aggressors, who were initiating the altercation and who may be held accountable for their involvement in the altercation.
Authorities say charges are pending.
The Montgomery Police Department telling ABC News there are 4 active warrants at this time, and there's a possibility more will follow after the review of additional video. Rena Roy, ABC News, New York. Alabama are looking more closely today.
This 06. What's good, my brother? What's good with you, man? Again, thank you once again for your contribution, your donation. We are always indebted and gratitude for all what you continue to do, brother. As always, we're thankful once again. Mr. Smith 06 in the house, 0620 in the house. What's good, sir? Right? She could be right, is what Mr. Smith said. She could be right. She could be right. She could be right. That's what I'm saying. It's possible, right? But my thing is, I want you to hear what she said. And I want you to hold that thought, Mr. Spence. I want you to hold that thought. You might have heard her, and you may not have heard her. But for those who didn't hear her, here's her words and what she said, and then we'll be right back. Check this out.
I put up a post stating that that brawl that happened was not real, and I got a lot of pushback, and that's cool. That's cool. At the end of the day, you welcome to leave whenever you feel like it, because this ain't that type of party where I'm trying to get to a certain level. No, this ain't that type of party. And whether you come and go, some people gonna get it and some people not gonna get it, and I'm cool with that. Okay, you know, I noticed the people that really talk is the ones, a lot of them, not all of them, a lot of them is the ones who, when I was talking about the blackamoors, you never commented. When I was talking about the Tatarians, when I was talking about the orphan train, when I was talking about Theosophical Society, you never said a word. Because your mind can't go there. A lot of your mind is sealed. So to look at a little brawl like that where nobody got hurt, nobody was bleeding, nothing happened, no ambulance was called, no guns was pulled, and that's a win for you? So you want to digress. You want to go backwards. Because we're going forward. As you see, I'm in a hotel. I'm in a whole different state. See, what I'm doing, I move in silence. You don't have to know everything I'm doing. But my plan is to buy land. So I'm doing things out here. I'm not just, you see, all of us, we just talking. We just talking. That's all we doing is talking. We ain't doing nothing else but running our fucking mouth. And see, we've been the type of people, we want to put all of everything in one person. We want to ride like that. I don't ride like that. I don't ride like that. Just because everybody is on that bandwagon, that don't mean I got to get on it. Because at first I thought it was real until I seen a media talking about it. And when I seen the media talking about it too much, I said no. And all them, I said no. Let me go back and look at this. And when I went back and began to look at it, I noticed that the shit wasn't real. No, And they had it all to the point. They had the camera enough where it could get the young boy swimming, where it could get everything that it needed to get to make it look like it was so real. None of them had bruised faces or nothing. Ain't that what going on the WWE? They hit each other with chairs, all kind of stuff, and nobody gets hurt. You know what? We going to another level, and whether you go or not, that's not my problem, and that's not my business. The problem is that they don't want you, they have to keep it black and white. They have to keep it that way to keep you on a low level to think that that is the problem, and that ain't the problem. See, the people that's behind this, they're fighting for their survival because we're waking up and we're understanding the people. See, these entities that we're fighting with come in all colors. They don't just come in white color like they told you, the white devil. If we created white people and they came from us, shouldn't it be black devils out there, melanated devils out there too? Shouldn't it be?
That up there. All right, so we back, right? Now, again, you can be right and you can be wrong. Now, is it possible that there could be a psyop where they did something to try to alter to get people all up into that and get elated? It's possible. Everything's possible. Everything has the chance to be possible. But I would have to say, okay, play your reasons out and make me see what you're talking about. Okay? So let's look at some of the stuff she said. She said the brawl wasn't real. Okay. Miss Smith said she could be right. I said, yeah, you could be right too. But I listened to what you laid out, and based on what you laid out, you know, I've been doing this a long time. I can read things that most people cannot see, and I'm hearing your words when you speak, and so I'm discerning what you really saying, what's the true motive of what you saying, and who you might just be. I'm just saying. I'm gonna lay it out, lay my case out like she laid her case out. Now, this is not directed towards her. It's just people who I see who think like she do. Because we do have a lot of people like that, that are there ops and stuff that these other folks do? You damn right they do. You damn right. Now it's getting to the point that we saying we part of this stuff now. We are part of this. And that's the part I had to say, well, okay, what do we gain from doing that? And what does it take away from us? Because really, as I go, I'm going to go down what she said before I get into that. So again, now, when you're doing shows like this, when you're doing shows, not everyone is going to agree with your points. There's things I said that I'm pretty sure people don't agree with. There's things, times I'm watching stuff I don't agree with. I don't expect everybody. I don't want a yes, ma'am, and a yes, sir for everything I say. We can debate about it. We can have a agree to disagree, agree to not agree. But we grown folks. We can do that without getting the fisticuffs and all that other stuff. When you mature enough, right there, you're sophisticated enough. So not everybody, just because you put something out there, everybody's going to agree with it, especially when you put it in the public domain. So she goes and she said, those who comment on her video about some things that she put out there, right? She said they didn't say nothing about none of that. Now let's put it like this. As a content creator, been on doing this for going on 12 years. When you put this stuff out in the public, it allows for people to agree or disagree. Let me say that one more again. When you put stuff out here and put it in the public domain, people have their opinions to agree or disagree when you say something. You could be quietly right, or you could be loudly wrong, or you could be quietly wrong and loudly right. It goes both ways. Some people agree, and some things, if you can't substantiate, sometimes you gotta ask, what is your true motive? She goes in and she says, all we do is talk as a group. I hear a lot of our people say that. When they start to try to make their point about what they're doing, they make talking all of a sudden now to be the most weakest thing you can do. From my understanding, you got to get instructions before you do anything. Let me say that one more again. Before you do anything done, you got to get some instructions. You got to get the word first. You learn how to crawl before you walk, and you learn to gurgle before you talk. So there's some beginning stages before you get to wherever you're trying to do. Now, when you're talking about people and talking about groups, and when they're talking, well, how do these other people stay in, let's say, on code? How do they stay on code against other people if they're not talking, if they're not planning, if they're not coming up with ideals and solutions? So why do we always, well, our people start getting mad at one another? Especially, all y'all doing is talking, y'all ain't doing nothing, y'all ain't got boots on the ground, you ain't building this. Everybody not built the same. Some people got different gifts and skills in different areas. So why would make you think I'm supposed to do the same thing you do? We different. We come from different backgrounds, different makeups. I got different gifts and you got different gifts. What you good at, you do as a collective for the whole collaboration. We all gonna get something done. But you don't belittle other folks because their part to the game might be informing people, right? Giving instruction. Now, I know there's the trolls out there. I understand there's trolls and shit like that out there. And those will be the ones that we understand with that. But not everybody that get on the mic is just talking to be talking. There's some things to be imparted. There's some people who need some advice, some guidance, some wisdom, right? You don't have people in your families or in your circles, and then you find somebody who might give you a little bit of that. So you think, why they disrupt our damn families? Why you think they made sure to take that black man out of them black homes? And then allow, again, just because a mama runs a household don't mean she can't have structure, because a lot of people just say, well, you come out of a single parent home. Well, maybe your mama grew up with her daddy. Did anybody think about that? Maybe your mama grew up with her mama and daddy. And just when it came to you, your daddy, for whatever reason it might be, ain't there. So that don't mean she ain't got no balance about herself. But they did that because, again, we don't have generational information. We don't have from granddaddy to daddy to son. We'd be lucky if we got 2 generations, or maybe an uncle, or again, a lot of people get in there, game from mugs in the street. That's my OG and all that other stuff, right? So our structure in the family, we don't have the long lineage of information being passed down. So conversation and talking, passing that game down, what's it, the game is to be told and not to be sold. So sometimes that's what it is. But why do we go to that belittling that? I don't get that. I just don't get it, right? So she goes on and she says, and my point is, if you do topics, like she said, I did certain topics that they didn't say nothing. There's times I'm doing stuff in here that you don't know what angle I'm coming from. Some of them videos, I'm pretty sure a lot of you did not get and didn't understand where I was going with it. Only I understood it, and that who can catch it will get it. And sometimes when people don't say nothing, means you could be teaching. You could be having people going back and looking to see what you said because you're telling them something they haven't heard. It doesn't make them say they didn't say nothing because you said it. It's just because maybe you were teaching. And or sometimes you're in agreement. Sometimes people are in agreement to what you said and they don't say nothing because they amening with a nod and a wink. You understand? Don't necessarily mean they're in disagreement with you. So she goes on, she talks about how, matter of fact, I'm talking about how they're absorbing that information. Then they'll question if they have some. And then she says, there's no comments. There's a lot of my videos don't have no comments. I wanted the YouTube, got my comments turned off. Ain't nobody got nothing to say. Ain't nobody got a question about nothing. So obviously you got it. It happens. But now you got a topic that now they say they got a problem with. Right? They got a problem with what you say. So it's okay. So when you do this, when people are opposition to what you're saying, and when you do and they disagree with you, that's their opinion. That is their opinion, their right to have an opinion about what you say, whether they agree or disagree. Mr. Spence came right in and said he believed it's possible. I said, it's possible you could be, but you got to lay out why you saying that to make me, because I'm going to show you what she said, and then you think about what she said. I think about it, because again, that's what we do over here. WeUpReport. We do history, we do reports, we do life, and sometimes we do these lessons that sometimes that need to be said that some people they're not willing to go this length to do it with it. But anyway, so here it is. You give your opinion. Again, it's your opinion, you're right. And then when you talk about a situation, why are we trying so hard to diminish something? Now, remember the last show I did last week, I showed you Jason Whitlock. I showed you another brother that said some stuff to diminish what had been done. Why is it that we try to find ways to diminish whether you, how about this? How about this? Let me give you food for thought for those who might not understand what I'm talking about. When Daniel Penny choked out Jordan Neely, whether all of them was in agreement or not, but you didn't hear none in opposition to it. Let me say that one more again. When Jordan Neely was choked out in that train by Daniel Penny, you didn't see them saying he was wrong. If they thought he was wrong, they kept it to their damn self. And those who support him did it big and bold in our face by giving him money. But you didn't hear none of them say nothing in opposition. When Ahmaud Arbery got killed, when we seen him shoot him, chase him down. You didn't see none of them that was in opposition say nothing. When Dylan Roof went in that church and shot up them people, did you hear any of them in opposition to him? Did you? Did you? I got a message. Let me give this message. Hold on. Aboriginal knowledge. What's good, sir? What's good with you? Right. So did you hear any of them in opposition trying to belittle what had been done? Because they understand. Wrong. We still in support by being quiet. Could there have been an ops, a site? It could have been. But why we need to try to take away from that, using that energy, that do you not know when you try to go find that, and only because I already got it, you can't, they got it where you can't see them getting it. Matter of fact, in the one I showed you, they stopped it as the chairman of the board came in, paused it right when it get to the clunks. See, but they did not have a problem with showing my man getting jumped and beat down. Let me say that one more again. They stopped the video when it came to them getting clunked with chairs and getting scuffed up. But when it came to the damn captain or the deckman, they let you see him get his. They got it off on him. But it's fake. But it's fake. Even if it's fake, right? Even if it was fake, why say it? What do you get from taking that from our people when we talking about unification? We talking about when people see each other in situations, you intervene, you watch, you make sure I'm my brother, my sister keeper. No, we want to find a way to say, nah, we can't do nothing like that. We can't do nothing like that. Or was it the fact that it scared the shit out of so many of y'all that handkerchief head syndrome fell out your ass? We gonna get in troubles. We gonna get in troubles. You gonna get all of us in troubles. So now y'all coming out and saying, oh, it was fake. All right, it was fake then. It was fake. Nah, it was fake. Yeah, it was fake. All right, it was fake. Right? It was fake. So I asked the question, why are y'all trying so hard to diminish, belittle, even saying that it's fake? What do we gain? One, for doing it. Two, for it being fake. That's still saying if you're making it fake, means that no, we ain't gonna do shit. Just come whoop our ass. It don't matter how many above us. Just come whoop our ass. We ain't gonna do shit. Well, that intro and Cube song, when he walk up to the dude, he said, you don't mind take that watch? No, Jesus, give me another one. Well, I guess you don't mind let me taking that wallet too. Now, Jesus, give me another one. Is that what y'all on? That's what y'all on. Right? I'm not saying that shit can't be fake. What I'm saying is, what do you gain from? What do you gain? You know, this country that did so much, and we talk about it, but they ain't never admitted to not one damn thing they ever done. They won't even tell you sorry. You see how Malcolm said in the beginning of that intro? When Malcolm said, he said, stick his name from my back 6 inches and pull it out and talk about progress. He said, they won't even admit that they even stuck it in there. You let alone talking about pulling it out. So here we go. We come up with stuff to say, we try to belittle it. So here she goes. Listen to what she say. There was no bruises, there was no ambulance, there was no bleeding, there was no guns pulled, and that's a win. Well, hold on, let me say that one more again. No bruises, no ambulance, no bleeding, no gun, and that's a win. When you talk about our people fighting, and you talking about no gun, Well, did you know that if you had a gun in that area, do you know that's a non-even concealed carry area? Nobody had a gun. You didn't see none of them security guys with a gun either, did you? Because if you pulled that gun out, oh, you're gonna have some major problems in that area. Go look it up. You can't have no weapons in there. And they at work. Again, the hardest thing everybody keeps saying, they was at work. They was at work. God damn, they was at work. No bruises. Wait a minute. Now, fellas, have you done been to the club? You done been to a party? You done been out and people getting in the scuffs and fight? Not everybody getting no black eye. Not everybody getting bleeding. Some of them can take a punch and not even show a damn bruise. If you look at it, none of them could really throw hands. None of them could throw no hands. You ain't seen other than that the brother that did the stump. You know, the swimmer cat picked the dude up, slam him, and the brother that stumped him, before he stumped that brother, that white dude, he punched that dude in the face. He had a Kennedy head. You can't miss that big ass head. He swung, you know what I'm saying? And maybe his head can take a punch and still no bruises, right? But okay, with that being said, wasn't no bruises, wasn't no bleeding, wasn't no gun, none of that. And you say it's not a win, right? Because none of that shit, no gun, none of that came out. I get it. It's possible it could have been a site. It's possible. But why not just keep it like it is? You know, that's like they said that they're going to take, let's say somebody win the Heisman Trophy, and then they take the Heisman Trophy back from them, and then they keeping the Heisman Trophy, but they don't recognize it, right? But he still got the motherfucker on the mantle. He still did everything to get voted to win it. Just some disqualifications ended up happening. So no matter about you taking the trophy away, he still voted him as that, right? It's like the Fab Five, right? They got disqualified, right? Because of whatever that happened with the Jalen Rose and I think of what was his name? Weber. Yeah, Chris Weber, right? So it happens, right? So why take that away? Why belittle? Oh, yeah. Okay, she goes on, she said, we want to digress, want to go backwards. Why are we digressing when our people defending themselves? Why do y'all look at that as digressing when they defended themselves? How are you digressing when you are protecting? When people cry, black, we ain't nobody gonna protect us. And when they protected themselves, showing that to give an example that some people needed to see, or you want to take that away. You want to disqualify that. You want to say that didn't happen. All right. Well, don't get your ass in no situation and then be looking for help. Because everybody say, that shit probably a fake. It's gonna be, it's probably fake. It probably fake. All right. But anyway. Then she said, to look at that little brawl. See? Brothers, we know how it is. You know, give that woman, she get to talking that. Little, right? Belittling the shit. That little brawl. Who you hurting by saying little brawl? Motherfuckers is on the clock at work. Why is it so hard for people to say, them motherfuckers attacked them, they defended themselves? Y'all can't take a win from that little bitty brawl? I smell something. I smell it. I smell it. You can't fool me. I smell it. So many of us, of our people, been programmed to have ourselves on autopilot. When we do something, that autopilot of that coon handkerchief fall out, you turn autopilot and you boomerang and put it back on your people. Sick. That's all that is. Says, We want to digress, want to go backwards, moving forward. She planning to buy land. Okay. Not all of us got money to buy land. A lot of us is generational broke. That's like throwing that shit up in people who like that face. You niggas is broke. See, we gonna be able to get away from you niggas because see, I'm gonna get some land. All right, you get some damn land. Fine. Are you building a community or you want some land to your damn self to be all by yourself? So when what they call them, the rough riders come running up on your spot, I think you want some of your people there, don't you? If that should happen, I'm not wishing. I'm just saying if that should happen, right? And why is it that everybody is acting like this is by buying land is going to resolve all our issues? Let me say that one more again. Why do people think that buying land is going to solve all of our problems? Is that what y'all think that is? I don't even know who the woman is. She was just somebody I seen on Twitter. And I thought it was interesting because, again, when it happened, you've seen a lot of people jumping out the window talking about how y'all taking that as a win. Oh, people were opportunists for jumping and getting a chance to get on white. They found everything to throw it back on black folks, but never once would they say that the white folks was wrong. Oh, they was drunk. Y'all beat up some drunk. Oh, huh? Because that autopilot turned on. Some of you, a lot of you are second, third generation of that. They parents taught them, they taught you. And you display it and you think that somebody who, some of us can read that. Someone can smell that on you. Someone see that right through you. Like everything that come to your people, y'all got, right? I'm not saying about her. I'm just saying that we do have people out here like that. My thing is, I'm just saying is for food for thought is, what do you gain by trying to make that in anything other than let it stand? Do you think that everything that white people told you in history is true? They let that shit stand and they let their children grow up off that lie to infuse them, and they're sweat up on you on a lie. And they believe that shit as a lie, even if it's a mythology. They believe that shit. So leave it alone. You remember that time I showed y'all when Venus was doing that interview and the white man was interviewing her and he was like, "What makes you so confident?" She said, "You sure you can beat?" He said, "Yes, I can beat her." He said, "You said it with such confidence." And what did Richard do? What did Richard say? "Hey, leave that alone. She told you already what she told you already. Why are you messing with that?" Because you don't understand what I'm saying. Why are you messing with that? Leave it alone. Why y'all got a problem with that image, with that tells? Why you think they don't want to show it? Why you think they don't want to show it? But they'll show you. They'll tell you in history how they're killing the shit out of you and hanging you and dragging you. But when it comes to that part about them, it's like saying, for instance, you remember that movie? What was that brother's name? That made that movie about going in that police station and shooting up the police. But they never let that movie come out. And then it came out about him and the white girl. And that movie just got covered. I can't even tell you the name of it today. Y'all know what I'm talking about? You can't get that image on them. They don't want that image on them, on you with that image. And here people say, "Oh, y'all leave it back, little bro. It's like, leave it alone." I'm like, Richard, leave that shit alone. Leave it alone. Leave it alone. Whether it is or it ain't. Like telling a kid, you know his mama was out there in them streets. but he got potential. He got game. He got direction to go somewhere. And people try to tell him, throwing your mama be on the street doing this. Trying to break that in him. He ain't got nothing to do about what his mama. He doing what he got to do. Whatever that image is, and let it stay intact. Let the shit stay intact. But we want to get out here and we want to say, taking it away. Okay. She goes on, she says that, so I'm saying all this thing about buying land is going to resolve all our problems. Basically, I'm not saying that buying land ain't good for us, but it doesn't solve all our damn problems. Just because you find a spot in hell, if hell is 1,000 degrees and you find a spot in hell at 999 degrees, oh, you call that a win by saying it's only 999 degrees over here. You're still in hell. How you stop hell? That's the issue. Now that you find a couple of spots in hell, how do you stop hell? Never mind. Don't pay no attention to me. The cure to all our problems. Or is it just a personal resolution? Do we need collective collaboration as of a group? Well, I got my own. Isn't that been our problem? I got mine. How does that help? How does that help your situation as we see the trajectory of where everything going? If it ain't collaboration collectively, it's only a matter of time. Again, all we do is talk. We doing nothing but running our mouths. Being the type of people who want all in one purse. Being different. Huh? That's what she's saying. We've been the type of people that we put all our shit in one purse. She don't do that. She different. Sometimes being different don't make you better. I ain't no serial killer. I ain't no serial rapist. I ain't none of that. You that? Because they be that. They can have that to themselves. I don't want no part of that shit. Sometimes because, again, I get it. We talk that. Everything everybody do, you don't do because they do. They jump off the roof, you don't jump off the roof, right? You make your individual thing. But that don't mean collectively that the thing that we standing on, that we wrong. You want it to be wrong for some odd reason. But what you standing on it's really quicksand. It sounds good. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Now, I'm not saying whether or not it's real or not. I'm just saying why I said it. But let's look at some of the points. On the Breakfast Club, ironically, a nurse supposedly who was there says this. Listen to this, be right back.
Facing it was huge, or what have you. I mean, don't get me wrong, I was tickled, but I was thinking to myself, like, y'all deserved everything y'all got.
You know, the messed up thing about it is, I mean, it is. I like that term. It tickled me too. You got a footprint, but then they come to the hospital. Now they coming to the black nurses to get some help. But then they come to the hospital. Now they coming to the black nurses to get some help. But then they come to the hospital. Now they coming to the black nurses to get some help.
Exactly. And then they looking at everybody like, oh my God, everybody's black, everybody's a nigger. Exactly. And then they looking at everybody like, oh my God, everybody's black, everybody's a nigger. Exactly. And then they looking at everybody like, oh my God, everybody's black, everybody's a nigger. And then they called the police, and the police told them, hey, you either get treated or you leave. Hey, you either get treated or you leave. Hey, you either get treated or you leave. And they left.
So you mess with black people, fucked around and found out, got your ass beat, got a footprint in your forehead, then you go to the hospital and you're like, oh, there's more of them here.
The footprint on your face is crazy. Hello, who's this?
All right. Now, again, I'm going to tell you, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that it can't be fake. I'm not going to tell you that the motherfuckers that sit down at that breakfast club may not be involved in shit. I'm not going to sit here and tell you they cannot be. But according to this person who called in, was at the hospital, and she's saying that they came into the hospital. May not have been no ambulance call, right? Because you got to remember, people got locked up, right? What we seen on the video, people got arrested. So where would you see ambulance being called? It was only the workers who got involved. There were some people who were patrons that was going to be part of the casino that got involved when they went down there and started getting with them. But as to anything else other than that spilled out over that, it didn't happen. How many was on that boat? How many got arrested and what was left over? So again, there was obviously some injuries according to the report. I didn't see nothing. They do got a picture. I didn't put it in there. I don't see no bruising on that. So I can understand you saying that. I can understand you saying that. But then she said something about when you see the young boys swimming, the cameras are too perfect that it had to be. Hold on. She said the cameras were in too perfect a position that you could see the boys swimming and everything as if it was staged to be done. Is it possible? Yes, it's possible. But you got to remember that Harriet was sitting out in that water waiting to come in from the dock because they blocked with the boat. They said it was 35, 40 minutes they had been out there. So you mean to tell me everybody that's on that boat and today and everybody got cameras, they sitting there, they seeing everything going down, they seen when the whole shit jumped off? Motherfucker, they pulling their cameras out and sitting there, and we see all the different ones or we see different pieces? But the one you said we see the young man from the boat, well, they was from the water towards the direction that he was going. Of course, they caught him swimming in. Could it been staged? It can be staged. But it's not like people weren't there to be in that position, to not get caught. Listen, here was somebody else who DJ Envy is trying to make it like they was the person that was doing the recording that I think she's talking about. But she gonna tell you she the other person recording. There were many different recordings out there, right? Listen, let's be right back.
Good morning.
How you feeling, Lauren?
I'm good. I actually just got out of work, y'all.
Now, Lauren, you the woman that you from Alabama, correct?
Correct.
Now you the woman that filmed the whole thing.
Right.
So you were filming from the boat. So break down what happened. You guys are on that boat. The boat's coming in, and you're seeing this altercation happen on the dock. So explain everything that happened.
Okay, so we were like on the dock. We were waiting to get on like the ferry boat because we had the little thing we had booked for my cousin, a private party where it's a shipping cycle, where you cycle while the boat's going. And the bigger boat, the Harriet, was trying to come in. The smaller boats were in the way. They were trying to move the boat, and the security, they called security, and basically they started unhinging the boat and moving it back. And the guy, the white gentleman, went down there, it was a lot of skins pointing, stuff like that. And then the white guy just ended up hitting him, and all of the people that was with him, I don't know if it was his wife, his daughter, whatever, but all of them jumped on him. Mind you, the Harriet is now like coming closer to the dock. So like the crew members, everybody saw it. But instead of them folks stirring up there's something going on about their business, some of them branched off, got back in their boat, just sat there. So that's why when you see the gentlemen and everybody jumping off the boat, it's because they saw them jump on this man and literally got on their boat like what nothing gonna happen to them. And that's why when the boat got close and they was able to leap over, and one individual, I think he was 16 years old, he swam over while they were doing it. That's why they did that. That's why it literally, all the security guard asked him to do was to move his boat. And it went from there.
Was the 16-year-old, was he on your boat that you were on? Did he jump off the boat you were on?
No, he was on the Harriet. We were on the dock.
Oh, okay.
Waiting to go on a smaller little, excursion where you kettle and you drink and, party that nigger boat couldn't come in either because of their boats were in the way. So they asked them to move their boat, and for some reason, whatever the case may be, decided to swing on the security guard and
wow. Lauren, we lost you? Damn, we lost Lauren. Lauren was actually one of the people that actually...
Now, based on what you heard her say, if you listen to her conversation, she was not the person that was from the position of seeing the back of the swimmer. Remember, she said she was on the dock waiting for a boat. So that tells me, if you very observant by listening, see, that's what we do over here. We teach you also how to listen, right? You pick up the fact that the camera is from behind the board. So that's not her. She's on the opposite side, filming from outward in. But we don't see that video. Maybe on her channels, her social media, there might be. What we have is there was cuts and bits and pieces of showing different parts of different cameras. It wasn't one camera caught everything, right? Now, again, I've been around long enough when the conspiracy was part of the talks and the things that people try to unravel and so forth. And now that everything you say conspiracy now, all of it got to be wrong. Conspiracy don't make nothing wrong. It's just some people are just not going to admit shit, right? Sometimes they're just not going to admit nothing. And in the case of this, it could have been. But you got to ask yourself, what would be the reason for it? Are you trying to say that this would go viral so that they can get black people all elated and high-fiving and coming together when you know they do? Who watched my video that I did of Jack Johnson? The bad man, the bad man type. You know why they call him the bad man? You know the year when he came heavyweight champion, they made sure they did not want black people to see Jack Johnson knocking that white man out. And when he beat him, they rioted and fought. They was going after us because Jack Johnson whooped that white man. Let me say that one more again. Do y'all know when Jack Johnson, the first black heavyweight in this country, cut from the cloth that we cut from, whooped that Jeffrey, knocked his ass out, they made it where you could not play that video in this country. Because they said, tell the white, don't get swelled up with pride and thinking because y'all doing something. And they rioted against us. They rioted against us. Just like when y'all did not, I'm not going to say everybody, a lot of people did not understand why you think I played Deontay Wilder in the beginning. Why you think I played Deontay Wilder? Deontay Wilder, like he says in the beginning here, he know who he is. He know what he's staying with. And when he fought, and then remember how he was all beat up, remember that glove and all that cheating? Because what people don't understand, boxing is really about race. Boxing is about race. And you represent your race in boxing. That's why when you see the mothers coming in, when was it De La Hoya and all them, and all they coming in there with that's racial pride. Remember talking about the great white hope? Okay, so the image of you whooping them is not to be taken. When you talk about history, you don't never see them talk about none of this stuff. You don't ever hear them talk about 1804, about what happened over in Haiti. You don't hear them talking about the Moors. It don't even exist. Still to this day, they will deny. Ain't nothing part of what we teach it, right? So here we is seeing this, and again, it's not about promoting violence. It's not saying no. It's just saying what happened. Take it for what it is, and let's move on. But this crusade of it was this, and that, take it away from them, right? It's like when Spence got whooped, what's the brother's name? Spence. Last time you talked about, I didn't even catch it when you said it. You had said Spence. I didn't even catch it, but I want to tell you, yeah, I called it right. Aboriginal says, I think I seen some of her videos. She believes whites aren't our enemy. But that's my whole point. We got a lot of our people. It's not saying if we're gonna say we're gonna blanket and say everybody. We're not gonna. That's not what we're saying. But it seems that we have some of our people who think it's good by telling us to allow certain people to get a pass and not to check them at the door. They get an automatic come on in and make everything and keep watching us. Everybody get checked. When I do that video in the beginning, when I talk about immigration, I'm not just talking about the so-called light white looking immigrants. Immigration cover all of them. None get a pass. You get what I'm saying? None don't get a damn pass. And so they want to put in our mind the exception to the rule, because she also goes in and says what? Well, just like I know I did that intention when I told y'all white men come from black men. If you want to talk about the origin of the black man, birth the white man, then the white man African too. Same logic she did, right? Don't want to put the onus on them, still find a way to put it back on black people. You got a lot of our people like that. That's that autopilot in them. They always find a way to come back and put it on black. Always. You can always find one. Watch videos when those dynamics of those two opposites are getting into it and the black is getting the better of it. Watch you find somebody black come out of the crowd to come protect it. I'm going to say that one more again. When you see that dynamic of us and them and you getting the better of them, and ain't none of them to help them, watch one of ours come out of the way and protect it. The autopilot come on. And they know that already. And I'm not saying when that brother got jumped that there wasn't the white dude that was out there that was trying to stop and they pushed his ass out the way. But he ain't try to throw no hands for it. He just tried to intervene a little bit. Get your ass out of here, right? And he ain't trying to get in no more, right? But our people will fight you over that. See, we got that. So I'm just saying, man, I'm not against the sis. Again, it's more about what she said than about her per se. But I see a lot of our people like that. And I just want to address it because I'm like, stop that shit, man. What do you get out of this shit? What do you get out by telling them, I take that as a victory, that little brawl to that? Leave that. I'm like, Richard, leave that alone. Leave that shit alone. Whatever it is, let them take it for what they need to do and move on with it. Anyway, right? Anyway, some people not gonna like it. I get it. That's how it's, sometimes constructive criticism has to be implemented. Cause see, that's the thing. We so far away from the structure we used to have that some of the shit that we do. It's kind of, you can see the shifting. It's such a great ass shift. Back in the days when you heard certain stories, you just knew it was that. When you heard a story that somebody found a little white kid and you didn't even put us in the equation. I be damn, it's somebody that look like us talking about they seen a little white kid and then they all in. And you see why they blew that all up? Because they know when they finally get one, they got them one. Got us one, Joe. We got us one. They got one. When they get one of us in them situations that they done been the dominant of, they gonna blow that up. They gonna blow that all up. So I'm trying to say, why some of the things that y'all doing seem to be trying to, again, you following them, writing that shit that used to be unanimous. We knew when the story came up. Oh, we know who that is. Today, oh shit, we gotta see who they coming out. We gotta see who this is. It ain't even a given. But that's just how it go, right? So anyway, moving on. I just want that on that again, nothing personal to her. It's just people like the things she's saying that I saw prior before her. And I have been seeing some videos here and there. And it's like, come on, man. Get off of that. Get y'all ass off of that. Leave that the hell alone. Right? But that's how it go. Moving on.
It's you liberals who have lifted them up, Howard.
Paul, you conservatives make a mistake. You can't afford to strangle hope in people. Without hope, people become dangerous.
No, Howard. You liberals have let them invade our society. You give them jobs, political jobs.
Paul, you missed the point. It's only the smart ones we move up.
That makes it even worse.
No, we have to move them up. If we leave a smart one in the ghetto, he might develop into a leader against us. But if we raise him up into white society, we neutralize him. He feels compelled to try to act like us. He loses his identity and his racial anger, if he has any. He becomes alien to his brothers. They realize he sold them out and they grow to hate him. He becomes worthless to them and safe for us. No, thank you. In fact, in his love for the creature comforts, except for his color, he's become one of us.
I got this other story here I want to bring to y'all attention, right? Because again, we're going somewhere. I got into that one because I had to get in that one. That one there, again, it's not about her. It's not about her. I just see too many of us like that. We got too many of our people like that. They do everything to find a way to put the shit back on us. Our problem is always us. I don't believe that. I don't think you believe that either. But nobody don't defend it. We rarely have anybody who really defends us. I might be one of the only ones who will really defend it openly and say what it is. Where everybody else will just kind of be like, well, you know, all I see is our people doing what they're doing, but I understand cause and effect, and you don't. You don't, right? So let me show you something about this cause and effect. Let me take that down, right? So Black Culture Electric performance by Isley Brothers at the forefront of AFRAM Festival. Let me say that one more again. Take that down for me, sir, or you can put that up there either way, right? Black Culture Electric performance by Isley Brothers at the forefront of AFRAM Festival. Now, the reason why I'm reading, or I'm going to tell you about this, is because why? Last week after I did my show, they showed this. Let me show you as let me play this while you're seeing this. No, do the second one. Do the second one. That one. Do the second one. Right? They was at a concert and the video went out and they was talking about how allegedly there was the helicopter that came by, supposedly let out some mosquitoes, right? Let the mosquitoes out on Black folks, right? Allegedly, they say, right? Allegedly. Now, the funny part about that is that was a Isley Brother concert. That's Isley Brothers. So that tells me this is an older group that's out there. Did y'all know that? Now I'm going to tie into something with y'all again. We talking about inception here. They layer stuff. And when they do the layer, do you see where they doing it with? Or you don't see it at all? Yeah, and I got some technical difficulties over here. I got some real technical difficulties. Somebody doing something, but we're going to move. We're going to get through it. So, hold on one second here. All right. What's going on here? Yeah, what's going on here? Well, he really fast. Somebody is really jamming me up, huh? Jamming me up. Okay. And jam it up. We're going to get through it eventually. All right, we're going to get through it. So here was, on this happening, did y'all know this was a 2-day event? This was a 2-day event. So think about Isley Brothers and how long they've been around in the age group. Listen, there is younger group who will be with people that might go out there, but primarily that's going to be an older group, right? All right, so I want you to listen to this as I read this to you, right? Baltimore, right? The Isley Brothers, Kid Capri, Tamar Braxton took the stage to perform at the AFRAM second day at Baltimore Druid Hill Park. The music was electric, but the attendees were on hand to celebrate Black culture. And guess what it was, y'all? Juneteenth weekend when that happened. Okay? So remember how big that was. That was that real full one. And so just imagine that. Okay? Remember in the beginning talking about Inception and how that movie and how what they do is they do 3 levels of it. And each level, they leave a person behind. And when they play the music to wake you up, so the 3rd level where they go into the consciousness of the person who they put the ideal in to implant in him so that they can steal the shit from him later on when they come back out. Well, you got to look at it this way too. That event was done when they knew a high propensity of our people would be there, right? A lot of our people be there attending it because 1 is Juneteenth. A lot of people celebrate that. 2, you got the Ozzy brothers, Kid Capri, right? So you're gonna have people who of that generation era who gonna be there, which is an older crowd. Now I'm gonna show you what I'm talking about here. Right? Watch this. So they said thousands came to the Baltimore for 2-day festival that had music, food, exhibits, craft, and much more. Somebody said, I love AFRAM. I come every year. I come for the entertainment. It was a Baltimore resident named Floyd Brown, right? WJZ is proud to be the media sponsor of AFRAM, the largest African-American festival in the East Coast. Day 1, the festival brought in an estimate 75,000 people. Now, I don't know what day it is when they did this here that you're seeing on your screen, right? I don't know what day it is, but they said on day 1, it had 75,000, okay? Say the second day was just as popular, but they ain't giving a number. So the crowd speaks for itself. Baltimore Mayor Brandon Scott said, you hear the energy, the positivity, the celebrating fatherhood. Also remember that Juneteenth was also Father's Day, right? So it was Father's Day, Juneteenth, festival, all rolled in one. So it was a big day in Baltimore for a lot of Blacks to come and hang out. And then somebody used that day by coincidence and let out mosquitoes. Okay? Right? Okay. So you might say, okay, what does that got to do? Okay. I might have told you about this book before. It's called The Higher Forms of Killing. It's called. They have several editions of that. And I happen to had read that very first edition. And the stuff they had in that very first edition, you can't find that book now. Because when they wrote that book, they told some real truth. They told some stuff about AIDS, who got the patent, where he got the money from, where he went to do it. They talk about how gas was used and how they got rid of gas and how that this country didn't sign the Geneva Convention, and that's why you're able to use the tear gas and, right, you know, the stuff that you spray in people's eyes and shit, because they didn't sign that, right? And then how the convention was because Germany was using the gas and so forth, right? And they talk about a lot of the experiments they were doing. They were talking about how they was using mosquitoes and this and that, right? So when I seen this, I thought, I said, I've heard this before, right? Now, look what they're talking about. All right, now look at what they're talking about. Huh? See on the screen there? Scientists race to understand highly mutated liquid blanket variant spotted in 4 countries, including the United States. Let me say that one more again. Scientists race to understand highly mutated liquid blanket 19 variants spotted in 4 countries, including the U.S., right? It's almost going to be wintertime, right? So we know it's about to pop up again, right? Remember, I'm the only one. You can go on my archives because I was doing it before they put the ban on it. So mine's still there, but they're not going to be able to see it. I laid it out. I got all the information. I showed you where it stopped, right? All that, right? Did all that, right? So we finna get ready to be dealing with this again. And remember, they were black people, right? Okay. They said, if you do some research, that those mosquitoes, ones, and because they also saying now that there's some what they call it, malaria is starting to in this country, right? They're starting to have cases of malaria popping up, right? And so if you go back a little bit, a year ago, they were talking about releasing GMO mosquitoes. Texas, Florida, you know, they were talking about places they was letting them go, right? Right? And so now, when you think about what happened there, and then how you see everybody was out there, and it was so obvious, it was very disruptive when it was out there. So, you know, mosquitoes are bloodsuckers and blood transfers, right? And then they said GMO mosquitoes that they were talking about, right? Genetically modified mosquitoes, right? You go look on that Bill Gates and you'll see they talking about the mosquitoes and, right? Okay, so when we start hearing these reports and we start seeing all these people with it, just go back to this. Just go back to this. Just go back to this. And that being an older group, you understand? Mugs trying to get, anyway, right? So we just have to say, okay, well, maybe coincidence, right? And they talk about how the variants, there's so many different variants now that, you know, they not prepared. Matter of fact, hold on a second. I got it right here. Hold on. Let's see, where all my shit froze up for some reason. I'm not understanding this at all. I don't know why this frozen. This froze up, but it's froze up. My shit freezing up. But anyway, with that being said, the so-called Omicron variants, and now it's done mutated so much that's why they say they're racing, because they don't know which one. And so, right? So we now in August, kids finna go, if they had already, where you had gone back to school, about to go back to school, right? September, October, and get ready, right? Can get cold, but I used to thought they in cold that they died of mosquito. No, I understand in the summertime, but during the wintertime, well, okay. So we're gonna say, well, somehow people gonna get it, possibly. We don't know how he's getting it. You don't think it through contact, but maybe it came through mosquitoes. We don't know. Maybe. Maybe it gonna come through them. But it's just ironic that happened with them out there, and that happened by ironicness. Mosquitoes out there tearing up black folk, eating ass, spreading shit, and just going wild. Not just like, I've been noticing where I'm at. The motherfuckers been biting the shit. I'm like, what the fuck? What are you? They acting crazy. So I'm saying that they GMO'd, okay? If I genetically modified it, remember we just talked about Henry Lex a week or two ago, and I make the GMO specified for a certain blood type, and when you released it, it was at a smorgasbord of what it loved to eat. Went crazy. Possibly, right? Some people get mad and say, all he do is he speculate. Well, that's what thinking people do. Thinking people speculate, trying to figure shit out. Not everything you're going to be able to get the answer, but you're going to have to break shit down, analyze it, and try to figure out to the best of your ability. So for you who be saying that, speculating, well, that's what a thinking person does. Speculating, ponder over it. I was a kid when it was little, TV broke, I cut the back out, and go fidget in there and fix the motherfucker. We watch it again. Toaster broke, I'm in there fixing the motherfucker. Shit, back in the day, I remember Nintendo or Atari had that weak ass wire, and you had to get that motherfucker in the right ass position so you can get that power so you can keep playing. You always had that one person who knew how to do it just right, so you have to keep playing. Yeah, those who know what I'm talking about know what I'm talking about. Put the cartridge in there when the thing was broken, and put another cartridge so you can hold this shit up in there so you can play. Yeah, that's what speculation builds. Intuitiveness. That's what it builds. Now, if you ain't got it, that ain't my problem. But if you think you want everything got to be in a book that you done read that you don't understand, that sometimes even books lie too. But everybody, the book, the source, all that shit is rigged. I've been in the game longer. A lot of shit rigged. Well, you'll get there one day. You'll get there. So anyway, point I'm making is be on the outlook. Remember what that happened on this situation here. Matter of fact, there was another situation in another one. They did this, right? The brother was out there, right? Getting attacked, riding in the bike, motherfuckers jumping all on them. They like shit, nigga, they going crazy. That ain't normal. That ain't normal. But it was normal, you know. For those again, see, we still got a lot. We got young adults who've been around 30, maybe 40 years. You've seen a little bit. You've been through some stuff. But the game ain't the same game as if you could go back before like 45 and back, 47 and back, right? It's a little different. They seem a little different. The game is a little bit different. So a lot of stuff that you may not be privy to understand, today they change it to make you think that, you know, that's outdated. We do that no more. So you need to get the older generation out the damn way, because they don't want to know when you try all the shit that you're pulling. We done seen the game already. We know what it is. You just don't get many like me that's going to really go out here and say it. That's the difference. You're not going to get none to come out here and say it openly. And understand that, you know, you're being coming from it at every angle. So you can, again, build your house into yourself. You ain't doing this collectively because everybody else is playing collective. You keep using the word unity and so forth, but you still haven't understand the terrain of the game yet. You ain't understand that, you know, the positions, they've been check. You know how much time you got until you get checkmate? How many times you gonna keep getting checked? Y'all figure it out. But, you know, but where we at, though? Because you ain't still figured out where you at. Where we at, Mr. Blow Your Mind? I'll tell you where you at.
We ain't got no fences here at Camp 8. We don't need no fences. We got us the gun line.
Tell them about the gun line, boss.
This is the gun line. It runs from shack to shack, clear around the yard. You are now inside the gun line. You step outside the gun line without my permission, you will be shot. You trip and fall over the gun line, you will be shot. You spit, you pee, you so much as stick your Johnson out over the gun line, you will be shot. And you, Slick, don't try to run, don't try to escape. One of my trustees will put a bullet in your head. You prisoners are now the property of the state of Mississippi, which is to say I own your ass. And in case you haven't met this handsome young fella, this is Hoppin' Bob. You run afoul of Bob, you run afoul of me.
In those devastating wildfires, you can see just how much has been burned to a crisp. The death toll now rising to 55 people on Maui's island. More than 1,000 homes and cultural landmarks destroyed or damaged, including an entire historic town. ABC's Melissa Adan reports.
A race to contain the raging wildfires racing across Hawaii as the death toll rises. The blaze now the second deadliest in U.S. history over the last century. Officials now fearing the death count to grow over the coming days. As some people jumped into the ocean to save themselves, this man doing just that after battling flames for 3 hours.
I ran to the ocean and I gave in. Everything gone.
Emergency doctor Reza Dinesh rushing into the historic town of Laihiana with his mobile clinic to treat burn patients.
It literally felt like an atomic bomb went off and survivors were coming out.
Aerial footage showing what's left of Laihiana, the one-time capital of the Hawaiian kingdom that has deep cultural roots, much of it now gone.
People lost everything, homes, jobs, their cars, some their pets. there's still people missing. I've fought wildfires in California, and I've never seen something ravage so fast.
Many homes and businesses reduced to rubble, burned out, hulls of boats washed up onto the shore.
We have a scar on the face of Maui that will be here for a very long time.
President Biden issuing a disaster declaration for Hawaii.
Anyone who's lost a loved one whose home has been damaged or destroyed is going to get help immediately.
While weather conditions have improved across western Maui, gusty winds still persist as firefighters work to contain all 3 fires still burning on this island. Melissa Adan, ABC News.
Right. All right. So look, right. So they said it was a fire, right? They said this was a fire, y'all. All right. This is a fire that ravaged Laihiana Hawaii. Now, those of you who watching been on my show, you remember I talked about. Remember when we talked about the Aboriginals? And said, well, how did niggas get to Hawaii? How did niggas get up into Hawaii? If you claim you brought, the indigenous American in boats here, then who brought them over to Hawaii? They got there. How they get there? With all that water that you showed according to that map, right? You show that map. Okay, hold on, put that back up on the screen. Hold on, put that back up on the screen. Yeah, I know it's been running real raggedy, right? Been running real raggedy. We're going to get through it, right? We're going to get through it. All right. Throw it back up on there, right there. That one. Yeah, I don't know what happened to the other one, though. 1 second, y'all. Like I said, we got some technical difficulties happening up here. All right, so here's some of the images and stuff that they show, right? So look at this stuff here. What they telling you and what you seeing, right? Because I'm still trying to figure out, can fire go across concrete? Can fire go across concrete like that? I understand things are being burnt. I get that. But they talked about also that there was a hurricane. What was the name of it? Dora? About 900 miles away. It was 900 miles away. I mean, I don't think it's, I would think, I seen a video where most of the people that I see interviewed didn't look like it would be the indigenous people of Hawaii. They look like Europeans. And he was giving the play-by-play, and he was in the water talking about how rough the water was. And we seeing the little boy that's with him got his hat on. Hat ain't being blown off. Now they say again, talking about fake, right? And I don't hear nobody saying no fake on this. But black people say, oh, fake. But this other stuff they showing, ain't nobody got nothing about fake about none of this stuff, right? I got a message here. Something ain't right. That shit looks scary, right? That's Miss Smith say, right? That's what I'm saying, right? And did you hear that doctor? He said a bomb went off. Like, did y'all hear him when he said that? He said, like a bomb went off. Like, huh? Is that the right word you supposed to use? Because they said that thing went in there and just went and just brushed fire through there. And I'm looking at, if you look at them pictures real good, if you can see them real good, I can understand some catching on fire, but I'm like, okay, it's not like, okay, the fire going across the concrete into the buildings. I mean, we heard the word wildfire. We have a good general understanding about what California, but those be areas that got, right? You got grass and right. We can understand that. I don't understand this concrete business, but okay, that's just me talking, right? That's just me. I don't expect anybody to agree with that. That's just me, my opinion, right? That's just my opinion. So look at some of this other stuff they're showing. Let me show some of these pictures they're showing here. Right, let me show you this. Right? Now, when somebody talking about some op and why all them in this one spot? Why all in this one spot? Why got shit go? The other people might need you. You don't need 9 motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? When you was a shorty and the police chasing you and your partner trying to say, man, don't run behind me, get away from me. Right? Don't you get right? Oh, I got messages. Hold on. Turn Screw says, good job. Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. Mr. Spence said that looks like a nuke fallout. Again, we just asking questions. You get what I'm saying, Spence? We just asking questions. That's all we can do. We don't know. We ain't there. And like I said, if you go look at some of the videos, some of the personal videos, who you see is not indigenous people from there. It's other folks giving a play by doing the Marv Albert. Whoa, what a spectacular move. Right? You know Marv Albert do that shit, right? What a spectacular move, right? That you just seen Jordan do the switch from the right to the left. They give you the play-by-play, and you're like, okay, but I need to hear from the people who I know gonna tell me what it is. You may have an agenda why you're doing what you're doing. Then they talk about Oprah. They talk about all these people who got their home, but none of them burned up, right? None of that stuff got burned, but this did. And then if you know the history of this place, when they talk about how Captain Crook came there and that's how they this is how they making this deal and taking them off that land and taking the daughter. And yeah, there's some history in here. There's a lot of history when it comes to this little part of this Hawaiian part. And I was kind of looking at it, well, maybe it's about taking shit over again. It's about ready to give shit back, right? But I want y'all to see these pictures. Like you said, Spence, I'm looking at the same thing too. And I'm like, I want you to see some of these other things that I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna show you these pictures that they put out there, right? Look at this shit, right? Look at all this shit, right? Right? Again, it's like photo op, right? Ain't nobody to be found. But all the stuff that's, you got the dog, you got the picture of the dog. This is good photo op. You'll say, look, he's in search mode. The other one had about 9 in one spot, which that don't seem right. I need, like I say, only 9 of you right there, but okay. Right? But look at that. Bricks. Bricks, but what about, I understand wood burning. Why the bricks? I still see some structures and some burntness. I get that part. But, brush fire, okay. I'm going to show you some other stuff because I want to jump ahead of that. But look at this. Look at these here. Look at this here. All right. Show the other ones, right? Now look at that, right? Now a fire. It's like the Pentagon part of the trade tower, right? They told us that plane hit that Pentagon building, right? And then when you look at that shit, you like, huh? Yeah, how big a goddamn plane is? You know how big a damn plane is? Okay. All right. So you see that shit, right? Now look at this car here, right? Look at this car. Let me take you down, Spence. Let me take you down. Let me take you down so you can see that car right there. Look at that car, man. Now I did a little research and I was like, well, how hot does it go to get glass where the glass melt? How hot does it take to get glass to melt? Because, okay, I don't know what color that car was, right? Could have been, it could, I see kind of dark. I see silver. What was the original color? I don't know, right? But I noticed that ain't no windows on there. Where the windows at? So accordingly, if you do the research, you'll see it says about 1,700 degrees, right? Between 14 to 1,700, you can glass of milk. Okay, about 14 to 1,700, right? All right. So again, we don't know. We ask questions. We just trying to figure out what somebody tell me versus what I see. It's like my eyes is lying to me, and I gotta believe what you tell me. So we're not supposed to question shit. You know what I'm saying? They're supposed to take it. So I seen this with Mr. Buttersworth. They did an interview with him. Now tell me what you see that's something a little wrong. You get what I'm saying? That's Mr. Butterworth, right? But look at that background. I would expect a wildfire under that circumstance to be able to brush through, but you telling me concrete. Maybe it's just me. Maybe it's just me. Maybe it's just me. You know, they claim they got the best emergency system in the world. But on this particular time, they had it off. It was off. Damn, it was off. Yeah, it was off. So what caused the brush fire? Well, they say there was a hurricane 900 miles away. Y'all remember Katrina? Right? Did Katrina even touch Louisiana? Go back. Did Katrina touch Louisiana? And what did some of the people say they heard prior to the levees breaking or exploded? Huh? Right? Just like that doctor said, what he heard. Coincidence? Could be. But so the winds, hurricane is 900 miles away. The wind is knocking down power, the electricity poles or utility poles. And they blaming the electric company for not turning off the power. And that's what caused it, supposedly. Then I've seen some people talk about how SpaceX went up, and I was like, oh, okay. So now they you know what I'm saying? There's some stuff out there now. You go look, you'll see it. SpaceX went up around that same time. I watched that thing. I watched that whole little SpaceX thing. And then I had seen something there and said, oh, that's what they were tying that to. Okay, all right. So I don't know how that played into that. I don't know if something of the thing that when they launched and the things that, released from the rocket, did it? I don't know, we're just asking questions. We don't know, right? So, but the point is they indigenous, but we don't see no indigenous people there, right? None of them get to talk. It's all these other folks saying everything. So I'm like, okay, with that being said, all right. Now, remember I told you that how did niggas get to Hawaii, right? And then you hear me saying that Black Americans attach indigenous to the Americas, right? And then people say, oh, we pretendians and all this other stuff, right? Now, if I say it, it's speculation. We theorizing, hypothesizing, right? But okay, what if I show you one of them saying it? What if I show you one of them saying it? Would you believe it? All right, how about this? I'm gonna show you the article first. How about let me show you the article? So I'm about to do that. All right. You see on your screen now? Can you see that good? Now, we started off with Alabama, right? Remember we was in Alabama, right? And about the brawl and about what was fake and all that other stuff, right? Now, let me show you something here. Again, I'm over here, all my shit locked up. Like, they all up in here freezing the shit out of my shit for some odd reason. I get it. So I can't do the flow I normally do because I'm froze up on my end over here, y'all. But we're going to get through this. I'm already at the 2-hour, 14-minute mark, right? All right. It's still freezing, so I can't really do it. So you see Alabama Republican State Senator Scott Beeson is under fire for referring to blacks as aborigines and agreeing that black voters turnout would be higher if they were bused from the casino to the polls. Let me say that one more again. Alabama Republican State Senator Scott Beeson is under fire for referring to blacks as Aborigines and agreeing that black voter turnout would be higher if they were bused from the casino to the polls, right? Let's check this out. Let's get into it, right? So this cat does this. Now then he's a senator. Then he said this too, right? Right? Alabama State Senator Scott Beeson apologized for calling black people Aborigines. Why are you apologizing? Is that a bad thing? Is that a bad thing? And why are they making him apologize and then try to throw in the fact that, oh, he said because if you guys at the casino would be either we gave a free buffet, you come in there, we go for the buffet and take you over to go to the poll. No. That's not, we ain't got no trip with that part. We said, what did he say the first time? What did he say at first? What did he say at first? Well, Aborigine, what? Explain that. Blacks is Aborigine? Is that what he said? Somebody said, oh man, he ain't said. Well, listen to this, be right back.
To prepare for this interview, I was quite surprised to see you use the word Aborigines talking about African Americans.
You know, I've dealt with that issue. I've already, talked publicly about that. And my purpose here today is to say that I'm very sorry, and I apologize to anyone whose feelings were hurt by my comment. I've made very, very clear I don't know where that comment comes from.
Well, from your subconscious.
Well, I guess. I mean, it's not even a normal thing anyone would say, even if you meant something in a negative fashion. I don't know if you would pull that out. But for me personally, you can't just close down camp and stop trying to do the things that you think are right. Just because somebody, you may give them an unfortunate bit of ammunition, you still got to continue to fight on and do what's best for the state in the long run. And frankly, it's going to give me the opportunity to talk about things that I may never been able to talk about before.
You mean the bill?
Well, the bill, or talk about race relations issues, things like that. I mean, I have a freedom that a lot of people don't have because of that.
Because you used the word Aborigine.
Because I've been through the fire, and I can talk to people, I can relate to people, I can let them know what kind of person I am, and we can talk about things that sometimes have been a little bit taboo.
So because it allowed you to reach audiences you might not otherwise have reached, do you not regret saying it?
I think it gives me some opportunities. I went and spoke to a group in the city of Birmingham. It was a city councilwoman's community meeting, probably 95% African American. And because of, things that I regret, offhand remark I should not have made.
Using the word Aborigine.
Right, offhand remark I should not have made.
Which you don't want to say.
Yeah, I know better. But what it allowed me to do, they actually listened to what I said, probably more than they would have anybody else, because they want to see, this is that guy, this is that person. And we discussed immigration, we discussed policy that deals with the county locally, and there was the ability to actually get across some things that may have surprised them, that they realized, okay, this guy's making some good sense on some issues. I don't know if I would ever have had that door even opened if some of those things had not happened. So it really has worked as a positive in a surprising way to me to allow me to interact with people.
Your other incendiary quote was empty the clip, the gun clip, juxtaposed with immigration, so people think that's what you meant. So how do you explain that?
Well, it definitely had nothing to do with violence against anyone. It was totally taken out of context. The purpose of it was I was telling an audience that we needed to exhaust all efforts to try to deal with a number of issues. But by the time it got through 2 or 3 newspaper filters, it was all over the country that I had advocated violence against immigrants. Nothing is farther from the truth.
To prepare for this interview, I was quite surprised to see you use the
difficulties over here. I got some technical difficulties, but we're going to get through it. It seems like, they got me really on lock, right? So just in case you don't know what an Aborigine is, let me show you on your screen real quick, right? So according to what he said, now this is a senator saying this, right? Aboriginal was 1660, first earliest existence from the beginning. especially in the reference to inhabitants of lands colonized by Europeans from Aborigines. The specific Australian census is attested from 1820, the now meaning in original inhabitants of the Atachatan, right? Or the attested from 1760, related aboriginalism. Okay? So when he said black Alabama, black people, African Americans are aboriginals or aborigines, did he slip? You see, they want him apologizing. They made that a byword. That's a bad word. You call black people aborigines. Is that really what that was? Or was that something that slipped out? Right? Did something slip the hell out? Is that what really happened? Right? Okay, well, look what they say what American is, right? Let's look at what American is, right? They say in 1570, originally one of the Aboriginal peoples discovered in Western Hemisphere. Say that one more again. 1570, originally one of the Aboriginal peoples discovered in the Western Hemisphere by Europeans. Skip to original census now Native American. See, originally census is now, the original census is now Native American. Oh, so the Native Americans took the place of one of the Aborigines. Oh, okay. The sense of residents of North America of European, originally British descent. Wait. Native American descent of residents of North America of European, originally British descent is from 1765. Oh, so Native American wasn't originally the one you think of Native American they call today is. Oh, really? Well, let's do one more. What do we do to say? Look at that. Look at this one. 1590 pertaining to the Western Hemisphere and its Aboriginal inhabitants from modern Latin Americanus from America. The sense of pertaining to the residents of North America of European, originally British descent is recorded by the 1640, later pertaining to the United States. French American, Spanish and the Latin Americano, German Amerikanist, feminine form Americanist attest from the 1838. The American Beauty rose so-called from 1886. American English as sub-language attest from 1806. Ameriglish is from 1974. So wait a minute. He was never supposed to put, and they trying to figure out, how did you ever slip like that? How did you fall with the banana in your tailpipe saying blacks and Aborigines? What that? How did that even, how did you, look, well, let me show you what happened. Let me show you how this happened with him. Let me give you a backdrop of the story of him, what happened with this Scott, right? So it was Benjamin Lewis said they're Aborigines. It was a conversation because he was wearing the wire for the FBI, right? Scott was wearing the wire because it was a scandal going on because they're getting people paying for them to vote, right? So he having a conversation, and on the wire, this is what they're saying. They're Aborigines, but they're not Indians. Let me say that one more again. They're Aborigines, but they're not Indians. Replied Beeson. That's the one you've seen in the conversation. Senate Minority Leader Roger Bedford D. Russellville said he was both. The person he talked to said he was both. Sad and shocked that in 2011, Senator Republican leadership would condone Senator Scott Beeson's racist comments. They changed it and made it racist. How is that racist when you call in black people Aborigines? Tell me how that's racist. Tell me how that's racist. How's that racist, y'all? Huh? He said, as I have stated before, I do not know where the word came from or why it popped into my head that day. Hey, anybody remember when Dick Gregory and oh man, what's his name? Copeland. Coke. Oh man, what's his name? What's his name? Hold on, give me a second. Oh man. And I can picture his face. Coakley. Y'all know what I'm talking about, Coakley, right? Remember they did that, showing that, what's his name, said about King? He said, we stood on the balcony here and I moved out the way so they can get a good shot. Remember that? And everybody was like, did he say that? Yeah, he said that. And he said he don't know why he said that, because it was meant to come out, right? You know, Most High got ways of making things come out, right? So here he is saying this, and he wearing a wire, so it's being recorded, so he can't deny it. It's in the records. He ain't nowhere part of politics no more. Man, get your ass away from here. You can't believe you said that, huh? So this is what they were saying. He said, as I stated before, I do not know why that word came from or why it popped into my head that day. Nevertheless, the comments were careless and unnecessary. See, now they try to play it off. Now Aborigine is like calling you a nigger. Like calling you somebody, you know what I'm saying? No, what you, Aborigine. See? It said the comment was caught on tape. Beeson worldwide for the FBI agent during an investigation into alleged state house corruption and vote buying. But Senator Democrat on Tuesday said Beeson's apology was inadequate for the offense he calls it, that he should step down as Rule Committee chairman or be removed from the position by GOP leaders. The committee set the debate agenda in Alabama State. Now, he was from Alabama, right? And that was that whole brawl went off, right? And remember I told y'all last week that the 4 out of the 5 civilized tribes came out of Alabama. You see when they said that the original Aborigines got stolen by that, which they end up calling Native Americans, and Native American is also applying to that. That was the British one. Right? Think about it. Okay, we gonna unravel this. We gonna unravel this. All right. Okay. So have you ever heard of? Have you ever heard of the? Now remember, you seen what it showed on the screen when it showed you that the Aborigines kept going back to that British mug, and he's stealing it. He taking over that name. He applying it to himself. Matter of fact, look at what they did with America. Look how they did when they changed it again. See, what they did is they kept changing it. Now look what they say what American is now. Look at this. Look at this. Read this. Look at this. American, objective pertaining to America. American, noun, a native of America, originally applied to who? The Aboriginals or copper color races found here by the Europeans. But listen to this, but now applied to the descendants of Europeans from America. Wait a minute. You stealing some shit? Ain't claiming some shit? You're putting that flag on the moon on some shit? That what you doing? Oh, that's legitimate? You took your flag on somebody else's shit, racing them, and now you applying it to you. And then wonder why we in here questioning about this history. We understand why nobody really want to talk about this history. We get it now. Do we not get it? We get it now, right? Well, we getting it now. We start to understand now what it is, right? We understand. But let me show you something. Or let me tell you something. Right? You ever heard of what they would call again? The Know Nothing Party. Right? You ever heard of them? The Know Nothing Party. The by name became the American Party of the United States. It was a political party. Okay? It flourished about 1850. Now remember when I showed you back about Aboriginal and so forth, right? So that means it came after that, right? Accordingly, they said it was an outgrowth of what they call strong anti-immigrant and anti-Roman Catholic sentiments. So they were against immigration and against those that was of the faith of being a Catholic or a practice of being Roman Catholic, right? Right, they say every Roman is a Christian and every Christian not a Roman, right? Because they different, right? Ideology. One gives to the vicar, which is the Pope, and the other one is, right? So they got ideology differences, right? So it started to manifest itself during, they said, in about 1840. And due to a rising of the immigrants, primarily those that came from German and what they said the Midwest and then Irish from the East, they claimed they were posing an economical threat to the country and politically security, just kind of like what we seeing now. We see this influx of all this coming in to actually undermine so that we can't have the block that has some control to be able to say, nah, what you get, we gonna play quid pro quo in exchange for our vote. So now you flooding in, so you now them made their numbers greater than, so but we still a swing vote. No matter how you play the game, we still gonna be the swing. Either we could have been the majority or the holder or the founder, or we could still be the swing, right? But they got to change that, right? Right? Somebody working on that. Believe me, somebody working on it, right? Somebody working on it. But anyway, so this party or this political party wanted to have security of the native born, what they were saying, the Protestant Americans. So in 1849, a secret order called the Star Spangled Banner formed in New York City. Let me say that again. Oh, say, can you? Okay, anyway. They wanted to protect, because why? Immigration of influx of German and Irish, and they said those of the Midwest, and those who they claimed that they was of the native born in this country, who were those Protestant Americans, started to form themselves an order called the Secret Order of the Star Spangled Banner. They formed this in New York City. And then they started to be in every other major American city. They started to formulate after that. Right? The know nothing part. Now listen to this, y'all. I want y'all hear this now. Now I'm going to change some other stuff that these mugs do. Now, when you would ask these members about their, what they call Navitus organization, anytime you ask them about it, they're supposed to say that they knew nothing. I don't know nothing. I know nothing. Okay. And so that became the name. And the membership started to grow by 1850. And it slowly went into clandestine, what they call clandestine cases, just silently characters, right? And they took the official name as the American Party. So this is end up being a three, that's how you get the third party, right? Or the other party is, if we put that, right? Became a national political entity, and it was calling for the restrictions on immigration. The exclusion of foreign-born from voting or holding public office in the United States, and then they started to put some requirements to be 21 years of a residency and for citizenship. In 1852, the Know Nothing Party was achieving phenomenal growth. It did very well that year in the state and local election, and was the passage of the Kansas City, Nebraska Act in 1854. And then it won additional adherences from the ranks of its conservatives, who were support of their pro-slavery democratic but nor anti-slavery sentiments, that they say, right? So you know, a lot of times they want to sell to us that these sides, the North and the South, one was trying to preserve slavery, the other one wanted to do away with slavery. All it really was about was the South had its own agricultural business, and the North had its, again, they're going to textile industrial business, right? And because that the South was working with the what they so-called mother country and allowing them in exchange to bring in and filter some of them cheap ass products they had up in there and cutting business from them in the North. So then they put that damn tax on the, if you go in 1828, you see about that abomination tax they put on them. That was the precursor to everything that led up to it's going to go to that Civil War, right? Slavery was just something they end up putting in saying that They didn't give a shit. Lincoln had already told you. He didn't give a shit whether slavery in or not. Now, again, some people will get very, let's say, particulars and say, well, we weren't slaves. I didn't say we were. I didn't say we were. I'm just saying what they talking about. As to who he was talking about, they didn't care one way or another. But somehow later on in history, that's what they sell everybody. Right? They selling that. And that ain't really true. So this Know Nothing party, when you start talking, when you realize it, they got, okay, the Know Nothing had power. And so they had this American Party convention in Philadelphia that following year. And then they split along sectional lines over pro-slavery, they claim. Now, see, again, they use slavery as like, again, trying to show some more that they all was for. It was only because of business, not because they cared a shit about who was under it. It was because you hurt our business. In the South, you put all that taxation, made it hard for them to push their shit, and you made it easier for you, so you was a conflict of interest from one to the other. So they finally end up putting this group together, and they end up having a couple presidents out of this Know Nothing. They had Millard Fillmore. If you look him up, he's a president, right? Came out of the state of Maryland. They had some representatives. They had pushed some people in there. But what I want to talk to you about this thing too is they had some rituals that we still see to this day. And you hear people that talk about the music industry and all this stuff, and a lot of, again, hip hop is on its 50th anniversary, but also was on the 50th anniversary is 1973, is when those who were diagnosed by the DSM, right, which is the Bible for psychology, 50 years ago, they said that those who were deemed at that time as LGBT had a psychological problem. And in 1973, they removed it out of the DSM, and they've been on that crusade ever since. So it's ironic that 50 years them, 50 years you, and everybody start talking about what they seeing now. And I wonder who was used as a catalyst. Because see, you got to go back now to what I was talking about, Inception. Huh? Let's go back to that Inception in the beginning, what I was talking about, right? Remember in the movie Inception? How they had to go 3 tier levels? Well, think about hip hop and how they do it, right? You got to have bars, beats, rhyme, right? Bars, beat, rhyme. What is in the bars? The lines, right? Selling, you propagating something. Music, the beats is another science. Rhyming, the jingle to it, got your hook. And isn't it funny now they're trying to really drop hip hop and get into all the Afro beats and Latino shit now? Ain't that funny now? It done did its job now, right? It did what it was to destroy, right? Like an Ouroboros, like the snake eating his own ass, right? And made the snake eat his own ass, and now we can drop it because we don't want to sell this all around the world to damage it because those already obedient. It was these ones we had to worry about, but we damaging them up, right? That's why you see a lot of the newer kids, they ain't listen to that. They're kind of dropping that now, right? Because they understand the detriment to it. But that's just me talking, right? Right? So look how they did that. So in the Know Nothing, they had a ritual called Seeing Sam. Ever heard that? Seeing Sam, which is another man got to give another man fellatio. The ritual. Then they put that up and actually took it back to Africa, and they said that that was a ritual that they is it Africa or was it Aborigine? Slipped my mind. Hold on for a second. Let me talk. But it's called Seeing Sam. Look up that ritual called Seeing Sam. Fellatio, man to man. And then even when the man in that organization, all the men that's in that organization, they done did each other. Kind of like when you hear somebody talk about those people in the fraternities and getting in the coffin and the shit they got to do. And they talk about some people, they got to do shit and they take the shit on film. And if you ever go raw, they pull the shit out. So that Seeing Sam is a true, real ritual. Go all the way back to Know Nothings. Okay. Right? Yeah, right? Ain't that something, man? So the Aboriginals, possibly, most likely, because let's look at something. Let me show something, right? Because I don't know nothing is going to be the Native Americans. And they said that nativism was the American Party, Native, right? Remember, they were Native born and American Party combined together as the Native Americans. And then what they did is swapped it. And that's why it ain't about DNA getting on them damn rolls. It's about if your people was on the goddamn roll, and if you related bloodline to them, you on the roll. It ain't about DNA or being in no particular damn tribe. And some of the people out here fighting say they want to be recognized by them. Right? Anyway, right? So let me show you something, Mike. Let me show you something. You see this here? So, oh man, you just talking that shit. All right, you see on your screen there, right? You see what that is? See that on your screen? That there says that is sponsored by Rep. Moran James P. Introduced 3/1/2007 Committee, House Natural Resources, Senate in Indian Affairs. Committee report 110-124, last action 9/25/28, Committee of Indian Affairs, hearing held. Let me show what they said here. Now, let me show this here. Let me show what they said. Let me show what they're talking about here, right? Statement by Rep. James P. Moran on the Thomasina E. Jordan Indian Tribes of Virginia Federal Recognition Act, House Resolution 1294, before the Senate Committee of Indian Affairs, September 25th, 2008. Good afternoon, and thank you, Mr. Chairman and members of the committee. I appreciate your willingness to hold this hearing and provide me and my colleagues from Virginia with an opportunity to testify. My message is straightforward and simple. Congress must grant Virginia's historic tribes federal recognition. It can and it should do so. It has the authority, and there it proceeds. Do so will also help right a wrong, a grave injustice that has been perpetrated for centuries. Last year marked the 400th anniversary of the first permanent English settlement in the New World of Jamestown. The forefathers of the tribal leaders who are in the room today were the first to welcome the English, and during the first few years of settlement, ensure their survival, as was the case for most Native American tribes as the settlement prospered and grew. The tribes suffered. Those who resisted quickly became subdued or pushed off their historic lands, and up through much of the 20th century were denied full rights as U.S. citizens. Despite their devastating loss in the lands of population, the Virginia Indians survived, preserving their heritage and their identity. Their story of survival doesn't span just one century. It spans 4 centuries of racial hostility and coercive states and state-sanctioned actions. The Virginia tribe historic, however, diverges from the most of Native Americans in 2 unique ways. First, explain why the Virginia tribes were never recognized by the federal government. The second explains why congressional actions is needed today. First, unlike most tribes that existed encroachment and obtained federal recognition, when they signed peace treaties with the federal government, Virginia tribes signed their peace treaties with the King of England. Most of them among these was treaties of 1677 with Charles II. This Thanksgiving, the Virginia tribes will fulfill their commitment to that treaty, as they have every year for the last 332 years, by providing Virginia Governor Tim Kaine with game and produce as tribute in a ceremony at state capitol. This may be the longest celebrated treaty in the United States. In the intervening years between 1677 and the birth of this nation, however, their 6 tribes were disposed of most of their land. They were never in the position of negotiate with and receive recognition from our nascent federal government. 2 years ago, the English government reaffirmed its recognition of the Virginia tribe, hosted them at the ceremonies in England. Sadly, as we concluded the 400-year anniversary of Jamestown, these same Virginia tribes remain unrecognized by our federal government. This is a travesty this committee can correct. The second unique circumstance for the Virginia tribe is what they experienced at the hands of the state government during the first half of the 20th century. It has been called a paper genocide at a time when the federal government granted Native Americans the right to vote. Virginia elected officials adopted racially hostile laws targeted to those classes of people who did not fit into the dominant white society. The fact that some of the Virginia ruling elites claimed to be blood descendants of Pocahontas, in their view, meant that no one else in Virginia could make a claim they were Native Americans and they descended of Pocahontas people. To do so would mean that Virginia ruling elites were what they decreed all non-white people to be, part of the inferior Negro race. With great hypocrisy, Virginia ruling elite pushed policies that culminated with the enactment of the Racial Integrity Act of 1924. This act directed state officials and zealots like Walter Plecker to destroy state and local courthouse records and reclassify the Orwellian fashion all non-whites as colored. It targeted Native Americans with a vengeance, denying Native Americans in Virginia their identity. You see how they're switching it up? Is this about Aborigines? Or is it talking about this Native American? You know that what an Aborigine is, right? But now they're still trying to say the Native American. So a lot of them who sitting there trying to say, oh, y'all Africans. Are you reading the documents? You gonna keep denying it? Oh, you wanna, he didn't say that. Throw it up on the screen. Throw it up on the damn screen. Shit. Shut their goddamn mouth. Shut their goddamn mouth. Look with your own damn eyes as I read the next part. You can read that part for yourself when you see on your screen. Right? Now I'm reading what you saw on the screen, what I just read to you, what you think I just said, what I just said. But then you can see it, but I'm moving on to the next one because I have one more after that. To call yourself a Native American in Virginia was to risk all jail sentences of up to 1 year in defiance of the law. Members of Virginia tribes travel out of the state to obtain marriage licenses or to serve their country in wartime. The law remained in effect until it was struck down in federal court in 1967. In that intervening period between 1924 and 1967, the state official waged a war to destroy all public and many private records that affirmed the existence of Native Americans in Virginia. Why are we talking about Native Americans? Why happened to the Aborigines, yo? Why happened to the Aborigines? Not Native American. You know, Native American is something they created a political party. What happened to the originals? Anyway, history have affirmed that no other state compared to Virginia effort to eradicate the citizens' Indian identity. All Virginia state recognized tribes have filed petitions with the Bureau of Acknowledgement seeking federal recognition, but it is very heavy burden the Virginia tribes will have to overcome. One fraught with the complications of that official from the Bureau have acknowledged may never be resolved in their lifetime. The acknowledgement process is already expensive, subject to unreasonable delay, and lacking in dignity. Virginia paper genocide only further complicates these tribes' quest for federal recognition, making it difficult to furnish collaborating states and official documents and aggravating the injustice already visited upon them. Okay, and it wasn't until 1997 when Governor George Allen signed legislation directing state agencies to correct state records that the tribes were given the opportunity to correct official state documents that had deliberately been altered to list them as colored. The law allows living members of the tribe to correct their records, but the law cannot correct the damage done to past generations or to recover documents that were purposely destroyed during Plecker era. In 1999, the Virginia General Assembly adopted a resolution calling upon Congress to enact legislation recognize the Virginia tribes. I am pleased to have honored the request, and beginning in 2000 and subsequent sessions, Virginia Senator and I have introduced legislation to recognize the Virginia tribes. There's no doubt that the Chickahominies and the Eastern Chickahominies and the Mohawkins and the Nassamans and the Rappahannock and the Upper and Mattapona tribes exist. These tribes have existed on a continuous basis since before the first European settlers stepped foot in America. They are here with us today. Okay, so to go into that, right? Is this about Native Americans or should this be about Aborigines? Are you catching that? Is this supposed to be about Aborigines or is this supposed to be about Native Americans when you know that Native Americans is some political party that was created called the Know Nothing Party that created this and became that? And then I guess some of them, so the game would look like, again, even some of the partners with them, because see, when you do your research, you're going to find out that a lot of the Mongolians, now you say, I be hearing all that Mongolian. Remember in here when that document I read, it told you about what? It told you about the 1924, right? Right? Did it not talk about that? That you see on your screen there? You see that there? That's the letter that came out by William Plecker at that time. Let me see if I can. Let's see on my end here. Hold on one second, y'all. Hold on one second. Hold on. Hold you on. All right, I told you, got me over here clogged up. But as you see on your screen, look at who they saying who's who. So there is a Caucasian, there's a Negro, there's a Mongolian, there's an American Indian, there's an Asiatic Indian, there's a Malay, right? So everybody's gonna say we Negro. All of us was the Negroes. But remember I showed you what it said with the American was the Aborigine copper color people, right? Didn't it say that? Did it not say the Aborigines was the copper colored people, but then these other people said we put our flag and moon out of that and it belongs to us. See, it ain't what you call me, it's who I am. A lot of people get in there, they sticklers for that. Who you calling me? Yeah, I understand that. See, you call them that, but it don't mean the same damn thing because they not who I am biologically and who you are biologically. You just perpetrating the fraud, right? You're perpetrating the damn fraud. So here's some stuff right there. You done heard the senator say he don't know why he said that because they know the truth. They know what the damn truth is. But yet the slick talk is he talking about this particular people, but he talking about these people, the one that didn't, again, inception, to go in, to plant in your mind what we telling you, and so everybody here fighting when certain people who are indigenous Americans of this land are defending that because of your programming and not knowing, you fight them for who they say they claim they is. What does that say about y'all? You would rather for you be right than like we don't know who the hell we is. Ain't that something? You fight us on who we are. We know how it is, but you try to take the story of what they sold you and make it be so, and you want it to be so true. So we don't have no background. We don't know who the hell we is. We just a bunch of melancholy soup ass people who just are mutts. We probably more intact than all of y'all. We more intact than most of y'all because most of y'all have been coming from places to places and mixing. We've been here. There might be some of this, a little this and that, but the whole consistency of it is still intact. You get what I'm saying? So when you're seeing being attacks, you bringing all them into Central America, they coming over here, you see what's happening over there in America. Is in Hawaii in the Americas. It's considered part of one of the states. Remember I kept saying, well, how niggas get the damn, how the Aborigines get to damn Hawaii then? So if they got to Hawaii, you don't think they came here? You can go look in the Library of Congress, they'll tell you that in Washington, D.C., they had Aborigines, they found their shit up there, over there. So y'all fight us about who we is. You want us to be something to soothe you. Because what does that mean? See, it's like saying, come to find out you've been fucking over God's people all this time. Whether you believe that or not. You've been fucking God's people over all this damn time. You're hating the stain and want to keep their ass down and suppressed. And think that one day that one will never come up. Y'all crazy as hell. You take it or leave it alone. Right? You take it or leave it alone. But anyway, right? That's what that is, right? So let's look at something, right? Because they start talking about the numbers and stuff, right? So Let me show you something here. This here. Let's see. Because I can't get my side over here. I can put it up on the screen for y'all to see, right? So look at these numbers they're showing at the time, and then think about the store they've been selling us. Now this here, you normally most people don't even get that. They don't get to that part. This is before 1790. No, you don't. Normally you don't get to see before 1790, right? You don't get to see before 1790. But there you go before 1790. We're gonna go back. Look at them numbers, and then think about the story they done told you. It can't match. It cannot match. It cannot match. You know, sometimes giving some people so great of a damn history and being so great, talking about bringing 100 million people. Shit, you ain't got no. Then Geico had a commercial. They used to be saying Christopher Columbus with speedboats. That was a joke. Because that's the only way you could have got 100 million people. You had to have speedboats. So it's impossible for people who never knew how to navigate across there and thought the world was flat and you went off the end, somehow they could bring 100 million people over. Then they tell you, well, we brought it from Africa. But when the numbers don't match up coming in here. You didn't come in here with it. You didn't. You just didn't. But y'all want that. And see, the inception is, if I tell somebody, back in the day when we was little, like in kindergarten, first grade, they had this game. I tell the person that we sit in a big ass circle, and I tell the person to the right, teacher say this, and I say what the teacher said, and by the time that shit came back to me, the story don't even be it ain't even the same shit we started with. Let me say that one more again. When I was in kindergarten, we used to sit in a big ass circle, 20, 30 kids. And the game was, I start off with what the teacher just told me and tell the person to the right, we say in their ear, and by the time it come back to me, it ain't even what I said originally. Could that happen with them histories and stories that talking about Barren Straits and all that shit? And they ain't never come on that shit, but that's what you hold and dear and true. You been here, and then you say, well, if you've been here for 10,000 years, why the fuck are you living in a teepee? That sounds like somebody who just camping, getting here. That ain't somebody who been here. You'll be at this damn long. Anyway, don't pay no attention to me. Don't pay no attention to me. Don't pay no attention. Because they're going to say we trying to steal their shit. I know, I'm showing you with the paper. There it is right there. Go read it. You know they're interchanging for the person who they're saying Native American can't be who you talking about. Had to be somebody else. Talking about when the first, remember in the letter it said when the first European came. But then when you go look at the etymology of when they said American is, and it said every time it said who the Western Hemisphere, who the white man met first was the copper color. But we ain't talking about the copper color people. We're talking about some other people called Native Americans. Our First Nation. But we ain't talking about Aborigines. Why ain't want to say Aborigines? And then why this dude taking all this heat? But because he said black people is Aborigines. You put two and two together. What you get? Take it or leave it alone. Take it or leave it alone. All right. What else I got for it? Hold on. Well, man, I'm at the 2. Shit, we about to hit that 3 hour. Hold on. I can't get my screen to see that number. I'm trying to show y'all here, but I'm showing the screen. I want to show y'all how, if you look at these numbers on your screen that they showing. Now remember, these are their sources. This is what they put. I didn't put it. I just using it. Right? You see those numbers? And they're showing the states, showing how many they got of this one and that one. You got free people. By the time you get to 1865, you already almost got 60,000 so-called free blacks. They say free blacks, but they got a story behind how they became free. Well, if you go back, when they start getting free, 1619, they tell you a story that ain't got shit to do with no slave trade. It got to do with stealing a boat going to Veracruz. Took the 10-eyed or 20-eyed Negroes as booty, kept them, made them indentures. Story tell you in Virginia, shit, you don't start talking about no slave until after 1661. Where the slave trade at? So the slave trade, if it's going to be one, it's going to start later on. And then they tell you 1808, right? Okay, let's go back again. Let me show it again. So you say 1808. You say 1808, right? You got a domestic slave trade. Domestic means within, in the house. Because England shut down international because you and your mother country fell out. Okay? They fell out. Right? Remember 1776, they become a country in 1789. They lose their connection because they became independent from them. So now you ain't got no way to get your ass across that water. Right? You can't come across the water. So everything now is domestic. What slave trade? It had to be only in the 1700s if you're going to have anything that you're talking about remotely. Well, if that be the case, if that should be the case, let me show you something. Let me show y'all something again. Again, we the most hated show in the black corner of YouTube. Been in the business going on 12 years, can't get but 100 views, 200 views. You tell me why. Tell me why. Tell me why. Why I can't get none? Why I can't get no views? What am I saying? Right? Just in case of y'all who, again, I come on every Sunday between 5 and 7. You want to help me out because you know they're not going to let me get nothing. Right? If you think anything that I showed you, something you can use, research, find, go in depth more with it, contribute. You know what I'm saying? Think about I've been doing this for 11 years, going on 12 years. Go look. Go look. Nobody could be this around and somebody gonna be 100 views. Come on, man. So obviously I'm not gonna do it for that, right? Anyway, you got some people doing this as long you go in their archive, they got the years, but they can't show you the growth, they can't show the development, they can't show where they started from to where they at. You don't see all that. But they got a long time on there. You go through from the beginning. And I started with, you know how I got on? You remember when Dominique, what was her name? Dominique Dawes? Remember when everybody talking about her hair? That pissed me the hell off, and I made me a damn channel, and I started from there. That's how I started on it. Are people sick? That very first video, I got 2 parts of that. Are people sick? Brothers and sisters who sick. Out here worrying about a girl who just won a damn gold medal talking about her damn hair. What's the hell wrong with y'all? Right? And from that went on and on and on and on and on and on. And I'm still here to this day. Y'all had got monetized. You know, when you get that 1,000, they cut it. I woke up one day, it was just gone. Like, yeah, what happened? All right. Did a video that went viral. You don't get viral in the corner. I did a video. Think about that. I did a video that can't get 100 views since 2000, pretty much about 16 till now. Right? But that video went 300,000. They said, nah, cut him off. He can't go there no more. But I ain't even think about it. I only got 2,800 subscribers now. If you think I go back in 2014, so how many subscribers did I have then? But I went 300,000. You understand? 50,000, 60. Well, you know what they did? I got more banned movies than anybody. I mean, not movies, videos than anybody. I got more banned ones, worldwide banned. Like, what the fuck did I put? There's a whole, you banned it worldwide. All right, okay, whatever, man. Take it for what you want to take it for, right? Anyway, so domestic slave trade banned because why? Their mother country said what? Ain't gonna be no international trade with y'all. You ain't fucking with us, we ain't fucking with you. So they pretty much almost embargoed their ass. It couldn't go nowhere. So that's why you always hear the Moors and them talk about that treaty with Morocco, right? They always talk about that Moroccan treaty. That's why. Because they got recognized by them. Because otherwise they can't get out. Nobody can get out with them. But then what they do, they fall out with them. Well, let me show you. So just in case you think I'm just talking. Right? Maybe you think I'm just talking. Right? Hold on. So the United States get into recognition by the Barbary Coast. Right, hold on, let me show it, all right? Let me show it, right? Right? Barbary, right? Will be the Moors, right? So the Moors gave recognition, Moroccans, right? But that was that first treaty. Then that one expired. But when they went to go do the second one, the cat that went up there, I don't know, was he Secretary of State or what it was, he went up there and he didn't come back. So there was never another negotiation treaty with them, and what ended up happening? The United States had a Barbary Wars with the Moors or the Barbaries. So how you doing slave trade from Africa? You can't. Your motherland ain't fucking with you. The Barbary coast is saying you can't do no business. How you doing it? Oh, other people bringing them. Is that what y'all saying? Well, Spanish just got its own shit. The Spanish Main and all that is different. The islands and them is different than being here. So where's the slave trade at, y'all? Where's the slave trade? They generalize this shit, commingle this shit, when they're damn well that's why Florida will never get into the history, because even Florida got to recognize niggas was there before all of us. And they don't want to say that. They got to say it. They don't want to say it. Get it? That's why Florida history ain't the same history as Virginia. Florida was here with the Spanish. Not with the Virginia Company or the Hudson Bay Company. They ain't got nothing to do with them, right? Okay. All right. So the Barbary, so they get into a war with each other. Why? What's going on? Now, since you not playing game with them, what is they doing? You know what they doing? They snatching up white folks. The Moors up there snatching up white folks and enslaving them, bring them in Africa or North Africa, North Africa, right? That's why you say white people turn they people from North Africa, right? You see on your screen that, right? Right? So now they're paying tributaries and monies to try to get them out of there. So how you doing the slave trade? How you doing slave trade? Right? Right? See? Right? What is slave trade? If anything slave trade, anybody coming on boats in the Caribbeans, there might be, because again, you do have at the time when they talk about the Christopher Columbus and all that, what's happened in Spain? Ain't they got the Inquisitions? So if anybody gonna be the first to before they go enslave, you already got them, because you fighting those, and those that won't get down and lay down, you can enslave them and then take them to these new lands that you claim you got. Right? Doesn't that make more sense? That I'm fighting you, right? I'm having a war with you, an inquisition with you, and running you up out of there. And the ones that convert, the conversos, black conquistadors, they getting down with us. And the ones that wouldn't, what I'm gonna do with them? Oh, they all end up going back to America? Well, we got new lands. Let me take these motherfuckers and put them in the land and make them slaves. If we gonna go with anything of a story. So that's why all them coming in, maybe Brazil. The lands of, you understand? And islands and right? That sounds more about right. But when it came in here, this is somebody entirely different than the rest of them. There's somebody different. Commingling stories. Commingling the stories, y'all. And they know if you don't go, you got to go in there and read history like a forensic. There's some people say history got nothing to do, ain't got no relevance, ain't no important. What you is today got something to do about your history. When you go apply for a damn job, they look at your history. When you get pulled by the police, they're going back and see what your history. History matters. Now, we're not saying that to say that our whole life is built on it, but that's your foundation. Every culture does how you think they keep their shit intact. So if you no importance, no relevance to it, that way your shit can be rewritten. And so if I get rid of the old one and then reprogram the new ones, you're gonna fall for the new game because the old ones already know the game and you ain't gonna be able to change them. So what we do is, again, Hitler said this. Hitler say he didn't care about the old ones. He said you'll die off. But them younger ones with these institutions of these schools and shit, we'll program them to get in the way we want them and you're gonna die off. All right. Anyway. All right. Hitler said, right? So you ask yourself, when they talk about Lewis and Clark and adventures, and you talk about that whole thing, this 1804, where the slave trade at? Where's the slave trade at? Lewis and Clark. You just purchased some land that used to be the French, not Napoleon yet. Who was in those areas when the French had them? They were just territories they owned, wasn't nobody there. Who was there? Isn't that where the black codes came from? But who's there? The black codes are French, right or wrong. They not English. They not Spanish. They were the black codes created by the French. For who? What people then? What people then? Okay. All right. So here's the territory they claiming, right? Look at the territory they claiming, right? Look at that down the middle. So look to the right over there. That's the United States. It's not big. France. Look at Florida down there. That ain't part of their territory. So who all in that part of that peak part before Jefferson them supposedly had purchased it from Napoleon? I think it's a going out of business. I think that case could be fought because if you fighting Haiti and Haiti whoop you, and that's France territory, how you selling it? Huh? How you get to sell it? Bargain basement sale. Break the glass case of murmur. Say, now look, take this money. We're gonna take this money. You own it now. We made it legitimate. So that's to keep them from being there and having. All right, control this too. And who in the back part of the French? You got Russia back there. You know what I'm saying? Nobody even talk about that. That Russia was from Alaska all the way down, then basically almost to California on that West Coast part. That's how you end up getting Alaska later on when the Civil War, or the Civil War, they supposedly, because they was backing them because Britain and England and they was ready to get in the damn war. They're like, we're gonna get y'all ass back for that shit y'all pulled. So Russia was back there like, well, if they get in, we in it. And then they selling us Russia against the United States all the time. Let me get out of here, man. Let me get out of here. Let me get out of here. Because I'm gonna look in there and I'll say, I'm like, all right, look, who else gonna tell you? Who else gonna say this? Nobody's gonna say this to you up front, straight like that. They're not gonna do it. What they say, the Garnifanas over there in the Caribbeans, right? Who these here? Who you seeing there? Who they down there with? What they looking like? The Garnifanas. I did the video here. Remember I showed you this black man? There was a little Spanish boy thinking that he was going to see the Garnifanas, and he was thinking in the mind it was looking like him. He fucked around, walked around there, and ended up running across the historian who was the one that he was the griot for the Garnifanas, and he sat there and told him everything he needed to know. And said, he told us, we not Africans. He said, how you think that we got here? He said, oh, no, we not Africans. You look at him, you would think he's like Jamaican or something. No, he said, we're not Africans. But they said when you say that you hate Africans. What makes y'all get, what? So many people said they don't believe in the Bible, but yet the way that they tell their story, they have to believe in the Bible because you had to believe, you believe in the beginning there had to be two people. That the Most High created God, whatever you won't call it, couldn't put some over here, some over there, some over here, some over there, some over there. Y'all can't believe that because the inception that programmed you can only happen this way. Look, it's in the book. What can you say? What can you say? But anyway, we the most hated show in the black corner of YouTube. Been in the business going for 12 years. This is what we do over here. We take news, current events, history, life lessons, roll it all together. I'll lay it out. I'm about to hopefully I'm going to set it up where I would like to have y'all come in. You can challenge, you can go collaborate, you can bring something in, and it'll be all good. I don't block. I don't do none of that shit. It is what it is. Everybody entitled to their opinion. We may agree to disagree or whatever. You may say, hey, Mr. Bugs, man, you full of shit. It's all good. I'm tough-skinned. You just, you're going to see me eventually. Don't worry about that. Just hold on. Just be easy now. All right? We're going to get to that part. So, Anyway, other than that, I don't. Let's see. Cause if I wasn't froze up here, I can't go no more because I'm froze up. They up in here. They got me froze up. So I can't do more than I wanted to do. But I did pretty much everything under this 3-hour minute. So I appreciate all you who stayed to the end. Hope that you come back again, subscribe. If you already subscribed, go back and look again because they will unsubscribe your ass, right? If you donated, I appreciate it. And if you do, next show, I'll give you a shout out, let you know that I got it. That's what we do. We give our appreciation for those who do what they do. And again, we is the most hated show in the black corner of YouTube. And so this is going to be another We Up report. And matter of fact, go over to We Up Report and subscribe. Get that channel. Help me to get that channel to 1,000 subscribers, please. Let's see if we can force them with my 1,000 over there and get the hours and see if they're going to give me cut the check. Then I won't be sitting here saying this to y'all. They're only doing it not because it's not that I don't be needing. It's just the fact that I'm on here and I play the game according to the way the game plays, but you know how they do. I don't understand as indigenous black, I know people don't like that when black and touching is more than all that above. We should be why aren't we the most viewed people on this shit? Think about it. How are we not the most viewed people? Thanks a lot, Mr. Smith. Always appreciate you, bro. Always. Will always be gratitude and dedicated to you as a subscriber, man. You all that, man. You, like I said, you number one, bro. But why we don't, as the best entertainers, where everybody get their damn so-called swag, why we the most lowest part in the game of social media? If the game ain't rigged, wait, think about this. Who better entertain? Some shows y'all watch, they entertaining as hell. So you sit there, watch shit, fall asleep. They in there still talking the shit all night. You understand? But they gotta do that just to get some views. You seeing people with 1,500,000 subscribers, and the subscriber count don't even match the views. And we justify by saying, well, maybe you only get 1% of the people. Maybe they're just blocking the shit out of you. I'm the example that everybody want to understand the game. Look at me. I've been for 12 years and can't get you. What? But I got receipts showing 50, 60, 100,000, 300,000. So how was I able to do it then? And all of a sudden I can't do it no more. I can't get 100. I can't get 2. Wait a minute. Think about this. Go look at my videos. Every video, 100, 110, 20, can't get 30 likes. I don't care what video I can. Shit, I should be able to play the lottery then. I should know the numbers. It's gonna come out every time the same damn time. Every time. And that ain't rigged. We ain't fixed in this corner, but everybody okay with what they get. Everybody all right with the little bit they get. People think they're big YouTubers, but it's not correlated. Somebody getting a check off your shit. Let me put you like this. You know what I'm saying? Motherfucker skimming up the top, skimming at the bottom. Well, guess what? I can make a private account and keep holding your numbers. That's like a counting trick. Y'all would know that anytime you got accountants, the motherfuckers all get fired because they be stealing money because they know how to skim off everybody's shit. Okay, none. Anyway, so this is the most hated show on the black corner of the internet. Until my next show, Mr. Vince, always one love. Glad to see you stop by and came through. The rest of y'all, I'll be looking forward to y'all. Comment, subscribe, share. See you next Sunday. Till then, keep this in mind. Always keep this in mind.
Remember, the enemy has only images and illusions, behind which he hides his true motives. Destroy the image, and you will break the enemy.